David Hewlett, and my friend James Gurney. How you doing? You got everything? Can you hear everything?
Yeah, I'm doing well, thank you.
Oh,
Yeah.
good. I'm just amazed that we've actually got that I've got the technology, from my side going at least at this point. James, thank you for doing this.
My pleasure.
I've been dying to sit down and talk to you for a while, and this just seemed like a great excuse to do it. Could you start just by letting people know who you are and what you do?
Sure. So I am James Gurney. I'm a assistant professor of microbiology at a U.S. university. I run a lab. I
Right.
guess is the easiest thing to say. I used to
Gurney
do
Lab.
stuff.
It's called the Gurney Lab, right?
Yeah,
Is it?
yeah. I used to do stuff in labs. Now I just tell people what to do.
Do you miss it?
I
You miss. Are you?
I do. Yeah.
Oh, you don't get to
I
fiddle
do.
as much as you.
Nowhere near as much.
Really?
No.
Okay. All right.
So my lab works on several questions. The main one is how do we treat antibiotic resistant infections?
Right.
And the main thing we do is a practical approach using the viruses of bacteria to try and better target bacteria and kill antibiotic resistant bacteria is the main gist of it. And I come from a sort of an evolutionary background, so a lot of the stuff we ask is based in how systems might evolve and co-evolve together.
Mm.
Aside from the work stuff, I also do a ton of outreach, I guess, is the other way to...
You've always been big on the science outreach. I mean, that's how I met you,
Yeah,
basically. It was because of your YouTube stuff, right?
Yeah. I mean, I've been doing it since undergraduate, really.
Yeah.
Which was 20 years ago now, let's say, which is...
Wait a second.
Yeah.
Have we?
Yeah. We've known each other since about 2011 or so over 10 years.
Wow. That seems incredible to me.
That seems terrifying, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I say we have never actually met in person yet, though.
No, I know that's weird too. Although that doesn't seem so weird anymore. Like it's almost like, and everyone that I've met in the real world that I've known as friends online, it just it's a weird continuation. Like it just doesn't feel like it just feels like we're just continuing a conversation. But I remember back in the old days when you were doing these or you just done these videos. It was always this. I picked up this wonderful sort of. You had before the pandemic, before everyone was an expert on viruses because of COVID. You loved viruses. You just loved them. Like you just absolutely fascinated by all of the things that they could do and how they did them.
Absolutely, yeah. They're amazing. They're just the once you get into genetics and start understanding a bit of like how genetics actually works, what's going on, from. I think when most people, when I say genetics, they probably think of like inheritance, but I'm talking more about the actual cellular machinery of how does a gene get turned on, how does it get made into a protein, how does a cell actually behave, how does it change its ability to do things. Once you start to understand that stuff and you see just how viruses have spent the last 2.5-3 billion years evolving to make that, like, destroy those ecosystems and play in that garden, it's remarkable. And they're just everything you think a virus could do, they probably do in some fashion. Like you're thinking about changing behaviors of the host, changing behaviors of other organisms that are also parasiting that thing, how they might copy the genomes. Even just the fact that, we tend to think of life as having this genetic material as DNA. And I always have to stop myself and say genetic material and not DNA, because viruses don't use, not all viruses just use DNA as the genetic material. There are viruses that solely use RNA. There's viruses that use RNA and then copy it into DNA first and then reverse transcribe it again a different way. So there's
maybe we should go back. Let's go back and just like and could you explain what a virus does? Just for those of us, I feel like I've been here before, but I feel I'm worried that someone else might not be.
When we think of the virus will typically infect a human, what's really happening obviously is the virus has to get inside a cell. A virus, for lack of a better term, is not living. And I don't like saying they're not living, but we can talk about that later maybe.
Oh my God, it drives me nuts. We'll talk about it later. Yes, okay.
But they can't replicate themselves. They're wholly parasitic. I've just noticed you got an ZPM mug. Very nice. They can't. They have to parasitize a host to be able to replicate. So a virus will go into a cell and then it'll co-opt the host's machinery, the things the host cell normally use to make more of the host, takes that and turns it into making more and more viruses. And in a nutshell, that's what a viral infection is. It's this parasite stealing a cell's resources and machinery to make more of itself.
And it's purely to do that. Like it's not trying to make us sick. It's not trying to achieve any other goal. It just wants to replicate as much as it possibly can.
Just making more virus. Yeah.
Wow.
There are times, obviously, it might do things that will improve its ability to make more viruses.
Like what?
There are some viruses that seem to change behaviors of the host. There are viruses, it's just in general parasites. The classic thing is the fungus that will make an ant walk up to the top of a stalk.
Oh, yeah.
We think there are viruses that will, maybe not to that same extent, but can increase certain behaviors. A classic one is rabies, where we still don't really understand a lot about rabies, but one of the things that happens is when you get bitten, say in the leg, the virus hijacks your nerves effectively. So there's these little tiny leg, they're called Diane motors. They're basically like a little pair of sneakers with a little backpack on. And our cells use these to transport things in and around the cells. And the virus hitchhikes on the back of the thing, so it gets walked up like an actin filament. So part of the protein.
Okay.
It does that until it gets to the brain, where this is where you start having rabies-like symptoms. But then we don't really understand it. Somehow is able to start turning that around and going the other direction, so then it moves to the salivary glands, and stuff like that, and then that's how it gets out to the next host. But we know that this year, the virus and nothing in evolution is thinking about, I'm going to make, apart from us, I should say, we do. But most other things in the universe, it seems, don't have the foresight to be like, okay, I'm going to do this so I can then have this effect happen. Things like that happen because they've evolved, and that's increased their fitness at the other end.
There is a tendency to sort of personify this, isn't there? Yeah.
Which I'm fine with, because it's
helps with the description.
Yeah, and it can also provide you with a testable question, right? I think a lot of the way science moves forward is by saying, I think X, and then just doing that is not science. You then have to say, if that's true, we should see Y and Z as well, and then we can go in and like probe Y and Z and Y and Z, Y and Z. I've been in America too long, and ask if we see those things we would predict if that first thing was true, then we have more confidence. And having this idea, thinking about evolution in terms of wants and desires, is inherently wrong, but it can provide useful, testable hypothesis to think, okay, if that's true, we should see something like this happen.
It is amazing, though, how that has latched on to people's understanding of this stuff. And when they talk about evolution, they talk about things getting better, improving. And it's like, well, they're improving at certain things. It doesn't mean they're better.
Yeah.
They're just better at dealing with whatever is killing all the other ones,
Yeah, it's a major part of my research is this idea of co-evolution. Like, how do things co-evolve, and what are the trade-offs between two things happening at the same time? So the video you nicely passed around on your newsletter details the stuff, the work I've been doing for 8 or 9 years now, where we were asking it, if we have a virus that kills a bacteria, much like our viruses that infect us, they have to find a receptor on the cell surface. I think the most famous one for people is probably CD4 from HIV. So you may have heard the term CD4 plus cells. Those are the cells that HIV really likes to infect. And the CD4 receptor is used in all sorts of little bits of the immune system. It's not overly important. The virus doesn't use that because of those functions. But the virus can only infect cells that have that little receptor on the cell surface. The same is true for bacteria and their viruses. So the virus is attached to these little cell surface proteins. Of course, the bacteria didn't make that protein for the virus. It's doing something. It has that thing for
something
itself.
else. Yeah.
And some of those things are systems like efflux pumps, and these are the part of the way that bacteria can resist antibiotics. So there's literally a little pump on the cell surface, and when there's an antibiotic inside the cell, I've got to find the right hand gesture here. Pumps out the antibiotic outside the cell. We have a virus that seems to like binding that structure. So we put the bacteria in this sort of catch-22. If you have that receptor on your cell surface, you're going to get killed by the virus. If you don't have it, you're going to get
You're
killed by
killed
the
by the
antibiotic.
so you're like tag teaming them with the two things. You get a little
Exactly.
phage and a little bit of
Yeah.
antibiotics.
But this is the idea of trade-offs where
Mm,
just because you evolved become better at dealing with one situation,
mm,
you may not be better at dealing with something else as well. Like
right.
you can think of it, if you get really tall as a human being, you might be better at basketball, but you're going to get cancer at a higher rate, or you're going to fall over more often. And
Right.
there's life is just a series of different trade-offs between optimizing for X or optimizing for something else.
Right. You may optimize for one thing and then find that I mean, it's one of the issues they have with. I was listening about to a podcast about the potato famine, and
Yeah.
how, because the potatoes were all from the same group always. It was always they'd pick them, they'd send some of them off, and the rest of them they would plant next year. It became a crop, monoculture crop, I guess it's called. So
Yeah.
that when something showed up that could kill it, it killed them all, because they're just like,
Yeah.
yikes! What the
I
hell?
mean, there's also a bunch of socioeconomic issues with the
Well,
potato famine. It
yes,
wasn't
the
just
potato, yeah, true. The potato famine is not
Yeah.
is probably not a great one from a political standpoint. Yes, because there was the farmers in England who owned everything, and the people
It
who
was
were actually
largely
farming.
manufactured by English, which
Was it really?
well, there's lots. I don't want to say it was intentionally a famine, but there's lots of things that could have been done to once they realized what was going on to stop
Right,
it, and
right.
it was allowed to happen, kind of thing.
But as a lesson in monoculture,
Yeah, yeah.
it's an interesting problem that we haven't solved at all. In fact, we've got worse
No,
at.
and we've already had issues with like the Cavendish banana, where that went more or less extinct. I don't think it's fully extinct. I think there are still some Cavendish bananas around, but
But the bananas
again,
we have now are completely different than.
yeah. Although I want to say it's not true that there's the urban myth that fake banana flavor is the Cavendish banana. I don't believe that's true. I don't want to keep
I
repeating
can't
this.
say I've spent a lot of
Yeah.
time, but on the banana side of stuff. But I should probably, obviously, I should, because there's something interesting there.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're back. So viruses infect us.
Yeah.
They take over our cells. They make more of themselves. They do the same thing with bacteria by latching onto these little
Exactly.
sort of individual parts of them. Why is that so valuable now? Like, why is that something that's so important for people right now?
Well, it pays my salary, so it's no. It's
It
so
pays for my streaming setup.
yeah. The jokes aside, I'm sorry to say I don't think you fall in this category, which is a good thing. But people my age and younger, I am more likely to die of an antibiotic-resistant infection than I am of cancer.
Really?
Yeah. So the thing, one of the
We've been pumping ourselves full of those things since day one.
yes, and there are in the hospital across from my lab, there are people who we could have treated 10, 20 years ago. They would have survived. Talking about in 2050, more deaths from cancer. We have people today dying in the hospital that we work with who our parents could have treated.
Wow. Because they've got a resistance to everything.
With a resistant antibiotic infection, and it's something like more than 1 million people worldwide directly die from a actual antibiotic resistant infection currently per year, but another 5 million die as a comorbidity of like they had something else and they had an antibiotic resistant infection, and that's probably the thing that's going to be driving it. So if you think about any time you go in for any sort of minor surgery or any sort of procedure in the hospital or anything like that, chances are you're going to be given antibiotics. We are very quickly moving to the point where we won't have effective therapy anymore for those sort of things, and those will be where the large majority of cases say you may have died because of a car accident, will be the actual cause of death, but you didn't survive because you also got an antibiotic resistant infection.
Wow.
Like so that's the extra 4 million deaths we're currently seeing.
That's the extra 4 million.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So we need to figure out something that can weaken these bacteria, like you're doing with the idea that the trade-off stuff.
Yeah. So
kill it.
I've been very lucky. I coined the term phage steering when I was a postdoc. There's this idea of like
Really?
we use phage to steer bacterial in resistance and virulence away from certain things. That term is now caught on, which is
Well, I've
great.
read it in a couple of articles.
Yeah.
Doing research.
I came up with that term. That's my
Really?
yes.
It's James. It's James Phage Steering Gurney. All right. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. And what? And so remind me again. So so it's
This is the idea of that trade-off. So
right.
I typically talk about antibiotics, but we can also do the same thing with virulence. So that's the things that bacteria use to make us sick, which is different from resistance. So it might have a spike on its membrane that it uses to latch onto your intestines, and that's how it gets a hold inside you and starts producing toxins and things. Those can also be phage targets. So we actually have many more phage that target those because there's just many more of those things around.
So something that would just make it slippery, so it can't stick on, or it can't.
Well, no, it loses that virulence factor, so now it can't make you as sick.
Okay.
It just can't do the thing it was going to do before.
Right.
So it's we're not so much killing the bacteria. We do kill a bunch of bacteria, but this is more about selecting for favorable outcomes after we've killed them, because we're not going to win this game. Like, we can't win a game of evolution. The bacteria will just out evolve us every single time. That's
because they can replicate so much faster than us.
They can divide every 30 minutes. Well, under 30 minutes in some cases.
Wow.
They are going to win whatever we throw at them. They're going to be able to evolve around it. So the idea I had was, I should say, I although I had it independently, someone in the 1920s had the same idea. So only 100 years after that.
Yeah, but you got the cool steering part to it.
Yeah. I got to name it.
Yeah.
But this idea that we know the bacteria, or the same is true for viruses and cancers. We talked about this when we did that cancer secret podcast.
Yeah. I should put the link to that in as well.
Whatever we do, we're probably going to be faced with the problem of things are going to evolve around our treatment strategy.
Right.
The one benefit, one trick up our sleeve is that we kind of know what's going to happen in the future. The bacteria, the tumors, the viruses, they obviously don't have a conscious ability to say, like, oh, today they're going to hit me with tropomyosin. That means probably tomorrow they're going to hit me with a phage.
They've got no sense of that.
They don't have that idea.
Right. Okay. And so, wow, I knew about bacterial resistant virus, bacteria resistant bacteria. Yeah. But I had no idea it was so prevalent. Like, I just assumed it was something that was the odd, weird thing now and again. Like, I didn't realize it was such a big deal.
The last 10 years have really changed the landscape, and we are fighting a losing battle currently.
Well, so what? So if you got a phage and it kills bacteria, why don't we just like jam a ton of that in us and just?
We generally, it's not so much for just you and I, but I've been involved in therapies of people who are classified as compassionate release. So a medical doctor, which I am not, has said this person is probably going to die if we don't do something.
Right.
And we've been fortunate enough to be able to been allowed by the patients to see how effective these viruses could be at treating those infections. And in the vast majority of those patients have survived.
The vast majority have survived.
Yes. Yeah. These things work. I was very lucky to get to meet one at a conference, which was probably the proudest moment of my career. So I was presenting. So scientific conferences, there's talks and there's posters, the two main sort of ways you disseminate your research at a conference. And I was presenting a poster, and it was all about how this phage we'd been working on and the in vivo, in animal work, and how that had been translated into helping a patient.
Right.
And the patient came up and de-identified herself to me. So she's like, "That's me." I was like, "Really?" And so it was nice to be able to finally make that connection between me being stuck away in a lab for 20 hours a day, and then actually
someone surviving because of it. Wow. Oh my God. That's
I should say doctors do that every day.
All the time. I know. It's yeah. My father, I always came back. I was like, God, Dad, I don't think I got the audition. He's like, yeah. I had someone die. So I'm like, oh, great. Okay. Yeah. No, all of a sudden my audition doesn't seem so important.
My little sister's become a medical doctor now.
Oh, yeah?
And, yeah, she's training to be a surgeon now, which I'm very, very happy about, because it means she'll no longer be Dr. Gurney. She goes back to, because you lose, in the UK, you lose the correct title for a doctor is Mr. or Mrs. They don't hold on to the doctor title. So I'll be very happy. I'll be the only Dr. Gurney left in the family.
I love my mom got a doctorate in history and became Dr. Hewlett as well. So which I'm sure my dad does not love because he was the doctor.
He's a medical doctor.
Medical doctor, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but surely you didn't just jab a thing of phages in. Wait a second. We'll go back.
Yeah.
Where do you get phages from? How do you even find them?
Yeah, so they're everywhere. Most of the phages we use come from sewage, believe it or not.
Really?
Yeah. And
You've really taken the sheen off this for me.
Yeah.
I feel...
There goes Dr. Gurney with his bottle of shit again. So this is kind of one of these anachronistic things where we know we could look through sewage really easily. We know we'd be able to find a bunch of phage in there. My opinion, which is not necessarily shared by everyone, is like we're missing a bunch of phage just because if you just look in a certain environment, you're going to find a certain type of phage. It's like if you just look in a lake, you're going to find ducks and geese. You're not going to find a condor living on the lake, right? Like you have to expand where you look. And one of the research projects my PhD students doing currently is trying to ask what evidence of missing phages do we have from our libraries. So we know from metagenomic data from sewage alone, we're missing about 99% of the viruses. We can see their DNA, but we've never captured them like as a virus. We've only ever captured their DNA. So there's a bunch out there that even in the place we've looked the most that we're not finding. And so the reason for sewage is because it's a human environment. So we expect to find human pathogens there too. So the bacteria I typically work with is called Pseudomonas aeruginosa. You don't typically find that in freshwater that's not contaminated by humans. You don't find it in all sorts, but it can be there. It obviously exists in other places, but we find a ton of it in sewage, and we find a ton of staph, and we find all the things we care about treating. We typically also find them in sewage. So we probably also find the viruses there too. The virus, though, that was put into that patient did come out of a lake. So all this thing I said about never looking at we did actually get that out of a lake.
Really?
Yeah. That was so a guy.
It was a lake that had like some fecal matter in it or something, or
probably like most lakes do, which is delightful to know. But
that's why I swim in pools. But
yeah. Well, probably more in pools.
I know. Well, it's true. It's true. Yeah. All right.
It's but yeah. So anywhere there's a bacteria, there's probably phages as well, and.
Just by the fact that there's enough of this stuff happening, that something is going to be preying on it at the same time.
And even my bacteria has viruses in its genome that it can't get rid of. So there's two main types. There's actually three, but we'll just say two for now. There's two main types of bacteriophages. There's ones we call lytic, where they act much more like a flu virus to us. They come on, they attach, inject their nucleic acid, make more phage. Then there's lysogenic, or temperate, the interchangeable terms. The lysogenic phage do all the same stuff, inject their DNA, and then the DNA gets inserted into the genome of the bacteria. And then now you just have this hybrid bacteria that's also carrying around a copy of that phage's genome, and that phage can now, when it thinks it's a good time, can leave the host cell, which is very similar to how HIV works. So HIV inserts itself into our genomes.
For what purpose?
It sometimes is better to hang around, right? Sometimes if there isn't a bunch of other bacteria around, maybe you don't want to. You just want to get into the bacteria, but there's not enough hosts. Again, I'm saying no and all this. You know there's not enough other bacteria present that it doesn't make sense to make 50 of you and explode the cell. Just hang out. Like when the bacteria replicates, it's going to replicate you as well. So now there's 2 of you, and there'll be 4 in half an hour, and then so 8.
When the bacteria replicates, it's replicating. It's
also replicating the phage genome.
So it's inadvertently adding. It's got a little hanger on there. That's and that. But if it's. And is that the same thing as it injecting the DNA and having it taking over the cell?
No, it waits. When the phage decides it's a good time to leave the host, it'll turn on its own expression and make hundreds of copies of itself and then explode out the cell. So at that point, it takes over.
So what triggers it then? It's the
lots of things. Radiation, antibiotics. Again, we think of antibiotics as something we invented. Bacteria got there 3 billion years before us. So like bacterial competition between the two of them can induce phage. Lack of nutrients, too much nutrients. They can also sometimes sense each other in the in other genomes, so they can make a little tiny molecule that they express, which acts as like a census, and then they can count how many times do I see this inhibitor in the environment. If they find a bunch of it, they know there's a ton of phage around, so there's probably also a ton of. It's not a good time to jump out.
Oh wow, this is and these are all what some people still believe and may still be true, that they aren't even living. They're like little machines. I mean, what's the difference there?
I consider them alive. They don't do anything different from us, aside from having metabolism. And there's even some phages that seem to have a little bit of metabolism as well. There's like jumbo phages called Mimi that.
Mimi the jumbo phage.
Yeah, Mimi the jumbo phage.
Wow, that's the name of my high school band. There you go. Yeah.
But at the base of it all, it is all just almost robotics. You have input A logic gate, output, and it's just layers and layers and layers of that, all adding up to emergent behavior. I don't see the difference between that and what we do.
Right. It's just done in a different way, basically.
It's not even that different.
Yeah,
again, like it's the same
DNA
it's the same
or
rules.
RNA or whatever. Yeah.
Again, people say they're not alive because they if you took a virus and put it on a sterile a planet somewhere else, it would never do anything. It would eventually just decay from radiation. That's kind of true about me, though. I'd probably eventually.
We do the same. Yeah, it's true. It's like you said. It was like that Kurtzgesagt thing. It's like, how do you get cancer? Just live long enough.
Yeah. Eventually it'll happen.
We start getting it wrong.
But the difference is, I like to use this analogy. Mitochondria and cytoplasms, they are part of the things that allow our cells to make energy. Okay, a mitochondria and cytoplasm, they about 1.5 to 2 billion years ago were a free living bacteria. At some point, something that kind of looks like one of our cells swallowed this bacterial-like cell. Up until that point, there were 2 free living organisms, and through some really, really interesting evolution, the mitochondria became a dependent carrier inside our cells. It's no longer alive.
And yet it still has its own DNA.
It has its own little bacterial chromosome inside itself. So it has a little circular DNA. But the way evolution worked on that, the best way to survive in that case was to die. The mitochondria has been dead for 1 billion years. If you take one out, it's not alive. But evolution, survival of the fittest is not necessarily working on just being alive. It's working on being able to pass that genetic information down to offspring.
Which it does very effectively.
It does great. There's tons of mitochondria in
Yeah. And we only get that from mom, right? That's only
mitochondria in mammals only comes from the mother. Yes.
Yeah. God, it's funny. We've just said they don't think ahead. But the reality is the mechanisms in place that make those decisions, that they make at each stage, has obviously led them to a really smart way to hang around without having to do all the work.
Yeah. Again, I don't mind thinking of it in those terms. I think it's fine to. I have a very old crotchety professor friend called Bruce Levin, who gets very, very angry whenever I anthropomorphize anything in biology.
I can see that.
Yeah, he's classic. Like he's in his 90s now, I think. So he was trained with the biochemists of the early days and stuff. Oh, he's actually got, you'll like this. He inadvertently almost discovered chaos theory. So
wow,
he's a very famous scientist in the US in terms of biology and stuff. But when he was working as a graduate student, he was programming his I think it was Fortran or the precursor to Fortran.
Right.
It still used punch cards. He was showing me his punch card library stuff, but he was getting outputs that just, the initial condition would be fine, and then it would spiral out of control.
Right.
And he said, I used to sit there and go, what have I done wrong? This is crazy. None of this makes sense. And then like 2 months later, someone I think from Chicago came up with this idea of chaos theory and
Right.
showed that, initial conditions really can have a huge impact. It's like, if I just spent more time thinking about it, I would have
Right.
also.
Well, it's also another great reason for having, different perspectives on this stuff, right? If you're not,
Absolutely.
that's not your
He just thought it
focus.
was a mistake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Yeah. It's
amazing.
like, I've done
Wow.
something wrong.
God, that's great.
Yeah.
So okay. So I understand the personification thing. I get it a lot with AI as well. I start getting a little touchy about that because I'm like, it's not
thinking.
It's not thinking. It's not wondering. There's this. It's, and I think we have a tendency. It's very simple, very easy for us to personify things. How did you get into this? Like, how did one?
Yeah.
You weren't like, oh, you know what I want to do is go into sewers and take samples.
You say that, but as a kid, I used to watch a lot of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So,
well, there you go. There you go.
was
it the mutant part that you were like you were?
I think it's just the sewer.
I thought
I was.
You could have just worked in there. They wouldn't need people down there.
Yeah, I as a kid in Singapore, our the apartment complex we used to live in, like by the exit gate, there was literally like a thing you could go down into the sewer, and my mom used to come home and find my brother and I playing Ninja Turtles actually in the sewer. She's like, "This is not okay."
Oh wow!
This is, like, playing Ninja Turtles fine, not in a literal sewer. So.
But you definitely and did you managed to not pick up any?
Yeah, I don't.
Any bacterial infections that you can't get.
Yeah,
you can't. Cowabunga, indeed. Yeah. Oh, by the way, just to the chat, I like in the I'm with Stargate Genius things. I like to talk to my guest, and then at about an hour when they start getting tired, then we start hitting them with some questions. So if you want to send some questions, the best way to do it probably is to send them to davidihewlett@gmail.com and just put Gurney in the title, so I know to look. I've had a couple of people bring some questions, but I'll get to them.
Lovely.
I'll get to them in a bit. So that's interesting though. So do you really think there was a connection there?
No. I mean,
But you didn't go like, wait a sec, they're genetically engineered. They're like, you didn't start going like, I want to do that.
No, for the longest time, I had very little idea what I really wanted to do. Mm-hmm. At high school, which is college in the UK, I was doing science, politics, religious theology.
Religious theology.
Yeah, I'd consider going to university to read theology, to study theology. The problem with that is I was an ardent atheist for a long time.
I was going to say, how do you like?
I just still find it interesting. It's a very the philosophy of religion is very interesting.
Yeah, and historical and
yeah.
No, I get it. I mean, I think that's
and there's not very many atheist religious theologists out there.
Right.
So
yeah, I guess that's
I'd have
true.
a unique perspective.
That's
true. But I realized there's so few. You get to a point where there's so many ways you can say I think you're wrong before you start repeating yourself, and it's not a career. It was something just interesting.
Right.
And at that time, I had my theology professor, lecturer, was a Anglican minister, and she was a nice woman, but it was a class of 30 very devout Christians. Yeah, and 2 atheists in there, so it was a lot of the time. It was like I would like trying to justify.
Didn't get invited to a lot of parties, did you?
Yeah, not in that class.
And neither did they.
Yeah, well, no, she was adamantly adverse to Richard Dawkins. And at this point, I kind of had heard of his name before.
The selfish gene and
yeah. And
what was the one about God? The God delusion.
The God delusion. Yeah, this is before the God delusion was a book. This is. She was talking about his book, The Blind Watchmaker, and how it's a retort to William Paley's ontological argument about you stumble across a rock, it may have been there forever. You find a pocket watch with all its intricate thing, like all the stuff going on. You can't. There's no sensible person would think that was made by nature. Which fine. So she was very, very angry about this book, and I thought I'm going to read that book.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's the perfect book to read to try and find out why because she didn't have a particularly good argument about why the book was wrong. She just didn't like the book.
Right.
And yeah, her and I did not get on particularly well. So I read that book and I realized this is amazing. How evolution actually works and the things because again as a 16-year-old, 17-year-old kid, you've probably heard about evolution, but you have actually very little. maybe understand it's something happens and things change
And
and
it's not
mutate.
taught in a particularly
Yeah.
interesting way, to be honest. Yeah.
And
It's more of a
that book,
stated fact than an ongoing thing.
like it's similar to like gravity. It's like I kind of understand it's something to do with
Yeah.
space time moving out the way.
Yeah. Look, I'm not sure we even had that at that point. Yeah.
So I read that book and it was eye opening in terms of like, okay, this is very, very interesting. And I decided I was going to instead apply to do biology at university, which was a problem because I didn't have a chemistry A level, so I had to go get a chemistry A level first.
Yeah.
So I deferred for a year, got my chemistry A level, and then went to university to study microbiology.
Wow.
So you took molecular biology and genetics, technically.
So you took basically a year off to get the chemistry.
I was working. I was at school. I was at college.
I see. Okay. Yeah. Oh, right. Of course. Yeah. This college. I keep thinking, university for some reason. Okay. Wow. I mean, I definitely find from a educational standpoint that I was always much more interested in the side books than I was the stuff I was supposed to be studying. There's always a sort of
grass is greener.
Yeah, there's something about that. So the book just so I remember, because it sounds like something I should have read. This is the
Blind Watchmaker.
The Blind Watchmaker. Okay, all right.
And I won't get into Richard Dawkins' other more recent opinions. I don't agree with those.
What's he written?
Oh, he's just anti this and anti that in terms of equality and equal rights and stuff. And
oh, really?
Yeah, he's never been a particularly nice person, which is also what the lecturer was saying.
That's funny. I was gonna say that because I'd heard only not particularly nice things about him, but that doesn't stop him from being
a friend of mine got interviewed by him when she went to Oxford for her undergraduate, and she was like, he was just did not care. He didn't want to be in the room.
Really?
I mean, all things aside, that book was the thing that's started my professional fascination with biology.
Wow.
And,
well, there you go. I mean, okay. And so, I mean, and that's the fact that you went back and did chemistry is not an easy class.
I hate chemistry.
Yeah. Everyone hates
That's why I didn't take it in the first place. I was like, I don't want to be a doctor. Like, I don't need chemistry.
Yeah, I don't need this crap.
Yeah.
That's the problem. It's at that age, you think you know everything and you don't. Yeah. But, and do you still avoid chemistry as much as possible?
Oh, religiously, yes.
Really?
Yeah, I do not get on well with chemistry.
What is it you don't like about it?
I haven't got the vocabulary to understand what people are talking about. I just don't remember when someone says covalent bonds or this. I like, what was that again?
Yeah.
And then like, this aldehyde group. It's like, I don't know what that looks like. Why? It's one of those things. Like, I'm sure if I know I did because I did it at some point. If I sat down and had to learn it again, I could learn it again. It's not that it's hard. I don't want to give chemists a free ride here. I don't find it difficult. It's just not interesting.
But that's the curse of biology in general. I think is the problem with biology is you need so much. You need definitely jargon. You need all the jargon before you can start making sense of.
There's a vocabulary for biology certainly as well. And I find it easier to link the concepts up in my head. Like I can visualize a gene doing something and how a selective event might change its fitness frequency. Like, how often do we see this gene now in this population? That's no problem. Ask me to imagine how some carbon and hydrogen sit together and how the shells are formed and stuff like that. When I teach, one of the courses I teach is like a graduate level how things actually work, which I absolutely love teaching it. But it's sort of going through like how when we do sequencing, like to sequence a genome, I'll get a kit off the shelf that extracts DNA. I'll move some clear liquids around. I'll then take that tube and I'll give it to a company and they'll send me back a bunch of A's, T's, and C's and G's. Each of those steps, there's a whole bunch of things that are happening. And I understand the chemistry of the things that are happening in those steps because now I've had to be able to teach it. And that stuff is interesting. But when it gets to questions of beyond that point, beyond the things I find where I actually find it still interesting to understand the practical nature of it, it doesn't hold an interest for me anymore. And again, I sort of half joking, I hate chemistry. It's incredibly useful if you find it interesting, good for you. And there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, it is a bit of I mean, it's a bit of the, I want to drive the car. I don't need to know every, cog and wheel and interaction that's happening in it. You can still enjoy the whole without having to
Yeah.
know everything. I get obsessive in that I look everything up to the point where I never finish an article. Like it's one of the things that I would credit AI for, is it's very good at helping me summarize stuff. Then I can ask questions based on that, and hopefully some of it's right, because I don't know enough to know when I'm wrong.
Yeah.
But
in terms of like film stuff, again, like if you, the course I'm teaching is similar to like understanding how the lenses and the camera work to get that shot. What's actually happening? So it's not just like, I could set up my iPhone to take a reasonably okay in-frame shot, but if you understand how the shift in perspective, like a dolly zoom and stuff, like why are those things happen? Why does that happen? And so it's just knowing that you can do it. I think that allows you to build a more interesting whatever you're doing.
I agree. I mean, it's not for everyone, but I think
Sure.
but yes, absolutely, I agree. I mean, the idea of like understanding how things work help you rethink how you can use them as well, for sure.
Definitely.
Okay, so you read this book just to piss off your professor, and it speaks to you so much you go back to and take chemistry. How did you end up on YouTube doing videos about this stuff? How did that happen?
Oddly enough, it came again from the religious theology side of things again, because there used to be a big in the early late 2000s, I guess it was. There's a lot of like anti-evolution,
Still is.
These things became more and more common, and like again, my two interests of that now was biology, and I had a very decent background in religious theology, I thought. And I just got sucked in talking about, because you used to be able to like make response videos back in the day. Like I've been on YouTube since 2006, which is
I go back a ridiculous long way as well. Yeah.
You used to be able to like reply to a video, like in the comment section, you could post a reply video. So that was all happening, and then I was also starting to work on biofuels. That was a few years later.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I was making videos about our research project on making biodiesel from algae.
Right.
And then past all the undergraduate stuff, it was just sort of stuff I was doing every now and again. I got to do my PhD, and part of the requirement in the UK is you have to do. I don't know if it's still true. Again, this was 10 years ago now.
This is when they paid for university, right? This is before they took away the free education or whatever it was.
Oh yeah, I didn't get university free. I got a scholarship, but I didn't.
Didn't they used to pay for university? I thought the government
sometimes,
used to pay.
yes.
Only sometimes.
Sometimes, yes.
I
You
see.
to get
So if you've got means tested or whatever, you could have it paid. I see. Okay.
Yeah. Again, that still did exist at a time where people from disadvantaged backgrounds did not have to pay for university. I'm always a little bit bitter about that. So it was based on your parents' income, and I hadn't lived with my parents for like 3 years at that point. So I was like,
oh really?
They don't support me. I'm an adult.
Yeah.
Why
wouldn't that?
But they're not going to give me cash, and you're not going to give me cash. Why is no one giving?
Why didn't they? That was just
because that's just the way it is in the UK.
There was just a loop. Yeah. There was a hole somewhere that didn't.
If your parents have money, they should pay for you to go to university. It's like, well, they don't. They're not going to. So I had to work a bunch side jobs at university as well.
You're saying I could have just bailed on Baz's education?
I think you still could. Like,
well, there's still time. He's got. I mean,
he's got 3 years left, right?
1 year. I mean, yeah.
Okay, so yeah,
all right. So you.
I then
giving back is that you're supposed to give back by
during the PhD level. Yeah, my funding agency required some form of outreach, and I'd done the thing where I'd gone to schools and talked to kids and stuff, which is fun. But
I was gonna say they couldn't have been going like, yeah, you should get on YouTube.
They definitely were not thinking YouTube. They were thinking about like career days and go talk to a bunch of children about biology and stuff. And I thought, well, I've got a little bit of presence on YouTube. I know how to make a video and how to edit one. If I just get 50 people to see it, it'd be more than, that's 2 classrooms. I've doubled it, and I don't have to leave my house. And I thought what I was doing is interesting.
I remember you telling me this, because I was like, why are you like, what's the, and it's just so smart. In a way, I sort of almost feel like I've approached it the same way from just the outreach, just the like the Stargate outreach stuff.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
feel like I'm more likely I could talk to more people like this than I can going to conventions or
yeah.
to to other
And
stuff.
they have their benefits, right?
Of course,
I
like
could
in
definitely
person
make,
stuff for sure.
yeah. I couldn't be as useful as a mentor to my own lab if I was just doing it online to them all the time. If I was just
Yeah,
if
yeah,
they just had meetings with me on video chat.
yeah.
But there again, I felt I could reach a fair few people. So
Mm.
I
And you loved viruses.
I do love viruses.
I mean, you
Yes.
really did. It
Yeah.
was one of the things
Yeah.
that I found so much fun about it was like, again, it's almost not surprising now because of COVID, but pre-COVID, no
Yeah.
one talked about this stuff. Certainly not that way. Very few
Yeah.
people that I'd seen were out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was interested. I forget who said it, but they were talking about how human history is really the history of how humans have dealt with infectious diseases.
Hmm.
Like up until probably the 1970s, a lot of the decisions and how things shaped out, what happened, was driven in large part by our interaction with the natural world and especially viruses. So I was thinking this would be a nice hook to try and like marry the human history with some of the virology that became a history of infection, and really put us to the fact that actually we haven't won against infectious agents. It's not over. I'm currently writing a Kirk's video currently, which talks
great.
a lot about this idea of like in 1980. The World Health Organization, in 1979, they just said, we've eradicated smallpox. The age of like pandemics is over. And then, there were several massive pandemics in the next decade. And it's this idea of human belief that we are elevated past nature.
It's the Titanic of the biology world. Yeah.
And so I found that was a very easy way to build a narrative story around a bunch of viruses, so a bunch of infectious agents, not just viruses. I talked about some bacteria too.
Yeah, no, there was a bunch of different things that came up, but it was funny because it was my reintroduction to the squishy world, which I had not, I just didn't, I wasn't interested. I mean, maybe because my dad was a doctor and he was always trying to get me to watch operations or whatever, but and it just didn't, it never
Hold
had
the scalpel, David.
I wanted electronics. I wanted robots and electronics. But now they're mixing and there's this wonderful kind of combination of stuff going on that,
the ability of people to engineer biological systems is fascinating. At some point we have to get you to come visit Atlanta, come to the lab and do some stuff.
I'd love to. Absolutely love to. Yeah.
Just to finish up,
is there any conferences down there?
Is Dragon Con? I keep saying.
Oh my God, Dragon Con! I didn't even think of Dragon Con. Yes,
come to Dragon Con.
Oh my God, Dragon Con.
Go see one.
It's terrifying though. It's terrifying. Dragon Con was like I remember the elevator. I'm just like, oh my God, like it was just packed.
But yeah, just go there for one session, so they pay you, and then we'll go hang out in Atlanta.
All right, perfect. All right, done. Very good.
So just to finish on the YouTube stuff. So I was making these videos, and then
are they still up? Like, are they still?
Yeah, I think they are. Yeah, they should be.
I know you still have the channel. I just wasn't sure if you still have the older stuff.
And then a channel that had about 20,000 subscribers, which wasn't much bigger than my channel, reached out to me and said, "Hey, would you mind reading through our script on life and stuff?" And it was Kirksat, and I was like,
really?
"Oh, that's an interesting channel." Went in there and like read their script, gave them some notes and suggestions. At that point, it was like 3 people, and they really liked what I had to say. Yeah, really early on.
Wow, were you involved in the Phage video?
Yeah, I wrote that, David.
But there's no credit on it.
Yeah, that's just how they did it. That's how they do the credits. I think I'm probably in the
thanks at the end or something.
Kind of in the thanks in the end, or I'm either in the notes video for it.
Because I couldn't see. I looked. I mean, maybe I didn't look long enough, but I was like, wait a second. Why didn't they didn't want to get James for this?
Yeah.
All right, okay.
They did get me for that. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, that's based on a lot of it's based on just on my research.
Because I felt bad because I was like, I put a Kurtzkasop video in and it didn't mention your name, and it seemed like the most appropriate one to get.
It's the second line of the Doobly Doo is credited with the scientific advice and editing by James Gurney.
Oh, there you go. So I'm just an idiot. All right, never mind then.
They did credit me.
Yeah, all right, good. But then they totally credited you, as I've just said. Obviously, my eye for attention, the detail is very important to me. All right, wow. So they came to you and said, we want to do something on phages.
No. This wasn't phages. The first video I helped with. Let's see. It was something along. It was. Are You Alone in the Universe? I think was the first one I helped with.
Really?
Which was 11 years ago. Yeah.
Oh,
so that was like the 12th or 13th video they made.
Wow.
I don't think I helped with 3 Ways to Destroy the Universe. That might have been slightly earlier.
And so they were looking for a biology angle on
Yeah, so they asked me to help with that video, and then because they had another video they were working called The Immune System Explained.
Oh wow! Okay,
and that was the first proper one. Was like, oh, this makes a lot more sense for me to help with.
That was a good one that I think we did we not listen to that one or watch that one
at some point
in regard to the cancer video?
No, that was the cancer paradox. Peter, no, it wasn't Peter's paradox either. What was the cancer one we watched?
It was the
Kansas City.
There was Kansas City, but but there was I think, well, maybe I just did it for research for myself.
You know what? I've got a list of videos I helped with. Let me pull that up.
Immunology. There was an immunology angle on it as well that was interesting to me. They're great videos, and I love what they're doing. I mean, they're amazing what they're doing.
The reason why cancer is so hard to beat.
That's right.
Video.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a shame we can't. We were hoping, James and I were hoping to work with them in another way, and unfortunately that didn't.
I mean, it's fine. It's So I approached them with a pilot podcast, not too dissimilar to what you're doing now. So I feel like there's some legal action I need to take.
Oh yeah, you should definitely do that. Yeah.
But
I decided to do it without any scientific background at all. That's my angle on it.
The pitch was we were going to interview experts, because all the Cookstop videos for the last 5 years or so have had like 2 or so literal experts, people like world leaders reading the scripts and giving advice and stuff. So my idea is we go and interview those people and expand on the topics that the video didn't have time to go into. And we made a pilot. It's available on my channel. If you want it to stick on your channel, I'm very happy we can just stick on your channel too.
Oh, either way. I mean, either way, whatever.
Hits that way, probably.
Well, you know what I could do though? I can add it to a playlist or something, or a favorite, and then it stays on your channel, so you get the
I don't mind. Yeah.
I could burn your house down. And James has the dubious honor of being online with Lance Gimpy G. Carr while his house was burning down, because he was literally gaming with Lance at the time.
It was an interesting day,
I am sure. But let's go back to your adventure here. So you were doing your outreach stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That outreach led to some stuff with Kurzgesagt.
Yeah.
And then what about then school from there? How do you decide where to go from there? What do you look?
So I finished my PhD position.
Okay, all right. So that was while you were at university.
That was while I was doing my PhD. Yeah. And I was lucky enough to stumble across a job where someone was looking at bacteriophage, because up to that point I hadn't worked with phages, and I'd found them very interesting. And I told my postdoc, my PhD supervisor, Steve Diggle, I've had this idea about maybe we could use viruses that attach to receptors to try and reduce antibiotic-resistant infections.
Oh, really?
And he's not a phage person. And he was like, that's great. Finish your goddamn PhD and leave me alone. Because that's a very common thing with students. Like, loads of great ideas. Mm-hmm. You've got 6 months left. Please just focus on your thing. And like, do those things afterwards, please.
Yeah. God, that I would be so bad at that.
Yeah, so many PhD students are, because PhD is select for people who are like that, I think. Mm-hmm. So I was finishing my PhD, and I found an advert for a job working with Pseudomonas religiosa, the bacteria I'd done my PhD on, and phages, and asking how they might co-evolve together, which was close enough to this idea I had. I was like, oh, cool. And I applied for the job. No idea where it was in the world. Just applied.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I did. I just needed a job. Right. Turns out it was in the south of France, which was pretty nice.
This was the south of France. Okay, yeah.
So, and I had my interview with Mike, who became my boss, and I was saying, I've had this idea about co-evolution and receptor-based stuff. And he was like, well, let me just stop you there, because that's exactly the project that I'm trying to get off the ground with a guy called Paul Turner, who's a professor at Yale. And I want you to come work for me and do that for me, please. So I was like,
really?
yeah, it was like, cool, great, I've got the job. And then I flew over to France, and then 2 weeks later I flew back to the UK because Paul was in London for a conference.
Right.
And I stalked him in the conference and found him in the elevator.
Right.
And cornered him to give me his phages and stuff. He's an absolutely lovely person. He was so nice. He still is very nice. He's been nothing but helpful my entire career.
Right.
And yeah, it's he gave me this phage that they found that did this interaction with the antibiotic receptors, the efflux pumps. So,
right. Which would allow you to steer them away from these.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's his work and his group who did the treatment in the patient who I met at the conference.
And south of France, what was the organization? What was the who were you with?
It was a university, University of Montpellier.
Yeah.
It's absolutely lovely. The south of France is gorgeous.
I'm not sure why you left exactly.
Yeah, well, there's no money. That's the biggest issue. Yeah.
Do you need money? You're in France, though. What do they?
Oh, I need some money.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, very true.
Yeah, it was a lovely place. Absolutely wonderful. Like Mediterranean climate.
Yeah.
Really nice people. I learned French.
Are you fluent? Did you get fluent?
No, I'm not. No, I can get by.
Right. Enough to have them laugh at you, and then
enough that I organized I organized my own wedding there. So
oh my god, you did that
my wife
French?
she doesn't speak French, so it was either I organized.
Oh wow, that's a really conniving way to get control of the wedding.
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
That's it.
Right.
Yes,
yeah.
Have it in a language they don't speak.
Yeah, it's very wise, very wise. By the way, Lance is in the chat.
Oh, fantastic!
He's popped up as well. So, as I say, we'll get to questions and stuff. How are we doing? Oh, it's almost an hour now. Wow. Okay.
David, I've got nowhere to be. So
oh, good. Okay, great. So the next stage, so you come back from the south of France, and you're like, oh man, I got to earn some cash.
I go from the south of France to the US. So
right.
My now non-French speaking wife got offered a job in the US.
Right. Oh, really? Is that what? That's what?
Yeah. So she got offered a job, and then I knew that.
Can I ask what her area of?
She works on bacteria as well. We're both microbiologists. It's a party here every day.
You end up talking about?
Almost never. Almost
Really?
never. Yeah, we try and keep our work separate.
Interesting. Okay.
Well, I mean, our professional side of work. Like we'll talk about stuff sometimes, but we don't sit around discussing papers and stuff like that.
Right. Okay. All right. Damn. I was thinking that would be kind of cool, but yeah. Okay.
So she got offered a job, and then the person who would connect to the person who offered her a job, I'd worked with him before, and I was like, "Hey, you got a job going?"
Right.
He very kindly gave me a job when we got some money together, so I came across with her as well, and I was in his lab for 4 or 5 years, and then 3 years ago,
working on the phages and the
slightly different, but same thing.
Right.
I got a position to work on more clinical aspects, like because we'd done some of the early in vivo work, and so we wanted to ask more clinically relevant questions in cystic fibrosis patients.
Oh wow, okay. Why cystic fibrosis? What was the?
Because there's a lot of
bacterial issues with that.
Yeah, that's the thing that kills you with CF. You die from a Pseudomonas aeruginosa infection. So the bacteria I work on is the main cause of death in people who have cystic fibrosis.
Really?
Yeah. So it's a tractable system where we have money to study it because it's typically a wealthy population, so that the funding's good, and it is of actual concern. It's it's not like, oh well, 6 people this year will die of this. It's hundreds, thousands.
Is there an element of the disease that attracts these bacteria? What's the?
So it's the way their lung immune system doesn't quite work correctly, and it becomes very viscous. So the bacteria gets stuck in there. It's not just
you're not moving around as much.
Yeah.
As
so they start with the Haemophilus influenza, then Staph aureus, and then Pseudomonas. And that, again, the Pseudomonas will be the thing that they'll have for 10, 20 years, and that'll be typically the thing that they'll die with.
Wow. And you're just constantly doing the back and forth trying to get the various different bacteria or antibacterial?
No, it's typically they replace each other. So
oh, really?
And there's a very nice thing that's happened in the last 20, 30 years is where cystic fibrosis medical doctors, used to just be pediatric doctors. because their patients would die before they became adults.
Wow.
And now the last 30 odd years, they've had to retrain as adult physicians because it is different. Pediatrics is different from adult. So
as Lance says, they're not as cute.
They're not.
Yeah.
So there's CF patients are living longer and better lives.
Oh, that's good.
And it's meaning that the things that will eventually, we're pushing that event further and further down. We start to understand. Well, now what's going to be an issue? When again in the early 1900s, CF patients would die like 2 to 3 months old because we didn't know the correct ways to give them nutrition.
Right.
Once we worked that out, they became children, and then they would get infections and die from that infection. Then we'd stop that infection from killing them. They'd live longer, and they get another infection from a different bacteria. Then we treat that, and so on and so on.
It's basically the same as us, only on a shorter scale.
Yeah. So that was my postdoc. I was working more clinically relevant questions in the CF, and then 3 years ago, I got a faculty position down the road from my previous laboratory. So it's very nice. I get to stay in the same
different university.
Different university, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And you were. I mean, are you allowed to say that you quite like because of the change? Why you like the change from one university to the other?
I mean, I can't say.
It was just an interesting perspective.
So I was at a previous university. Was also a state university. But it's like a top 10 in the world university. It's a great place to work. But the children, the young adults who go there.
It is weird, isn't it? See, you're getting to that age where everyone's a kid. All of a sudden, everyone's a kid. Yeah.
They are typically from very privileged backgrounds, and they do not represent, in my opinion, the diversity we see in Atlanta. And Atlanta is an incredibly diverse city. And my current university, which is far lower on the ranks, but actually looks like the population of Atlanta. Yeah. It's
that I just thought that was I just thought that was fantastic. I mean, that's and also, but it also makes sense, doesn't it? Because from a medical standpoint, you want that variety. You don't want to be looking at the same. Yeah. If even from a medical standpoint, it makes sense.
Well, this is the thing. A lot of drugs work really well on 25-year-old white guys.
Yeah, because they're the ones who made them. Yeah, exactly.
Well, they're the ones who got tested.
Got tested on it. It's true. Yeah. It's true. Yeah. Okay, so you landed on your feet. You ended up at the university that you like.
I love it.
What's like future? What are you interested in the future? What are you excited about?
Well, I want to become a full prof. That's the next stage.
What is the deal? So how does that work?
In the US, you come in as an assistant professor, which I'm sure my grandmother would have thought was an assistant to the professor, but it's.
Would you like another cup of tea?
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. So I run a lab.
I love family.
I'm my own boss. All these sort of things.
Right. You've got the Gurney lab. It says Gurney lab. It's like it's.
Did you see my logo yet?
Yeah. No. There's a logo.
Yeah, I made a logo. I'll have to dig this up.
Oh, logo.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. Yeah. So the next step is I get tenure, which means it becomes a lot harder to fire me.
Means they can't fire you.
Yeah, they can.
Yeah, but you got to really work on it. I think.
Yeah, it's not easy to fire me.
Yeah.
I'll also at that same time get promoted to associate professor.
What? Really?
Yes.
But then you have to put ass prof, which I don't like at all. Yeah, that's not good.
And then hopefully 2, 3, 4 years go by and I can apply for a full professorship. And the idea is sort of. It's built on how much reputation you have. So they assume as an assistant professor coming in, you're going to be able to build a lab and do these things. An associate professor, the sort of the back of the calculation, the envelope criteria is: are you well known in the US for your field? And then
that's where the YouTube comes in. That's good, right? And the Kurtzke.
No, it's more about publication based, not outreach.
Oh, yeah. All right. So it's papers. It's getting papers out. Yeah.
And then full professor is: are you regarded worldwide in your field? That's a typical thing. So the reality, what I need to do is get some money, more money, so get grants in and be able to pay the equivalent of what the university has given me over 5 years. So
right.
Which I'm working towards. So there's the lab logo. I'll hold this up.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Evolve or die. Oh my God. Tell me you've got stickers.
I have got stickers. Yes,
I gotta get shiny. Stickers. That's great. Shiny. That belongs on my laptop. I love that.
I'll send you one.
Oh, that'd be great.
So
Yeah.
I was inspired by the old like Russian constructivism type
Yeah,
art.
it
Yeah,
does have a slightly
yeah.
sort of old Soviet
Old
era
Soviet
kind of.
style. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, because that's what you want.
Yes.
You want is an old
Well,
Soviet
there's
feel.
phage we used for a long time, but still are used for a long time in the Soviet.
Yeah, don't people go to like Georgia to get it
Yeah,
to get the
yeah,
phage therapy? And why?
they
Just
do.
because they weren't. How does that?
Long story.
Oh, is it
Give you
okay?
I'll give you the cliff
All
notes.
right.
One of the very first people who developed phage therapy, Durrell, French
Mm,
guy, he fell out of favor in the US, and I think he was at Yale or Harvard. He done this cool, found all these cool phages, and then basically tried to treat people and was like, it's not working.
mm,
So the university got angry at him. He left and went to Georgia.
mm,
And set up an institute there, and then
mm,
from that point, it just spread from locally in there, and then during obviously Second World War and the Iron Curtain, all these sort of things,
mm.
there wasn't enough discussion between microbiologists back and forwards about what to work.
You can
The
buy them on the
Nazis.
shelf, can you not? Like
Yeah.
I feel like in Bulgaria they had
You can
phage
pick them up at
pricing.
shelf, yeah. So
Yeah,
if you're on like the Axis side of things, you have
mm,
like phage was quite a common therapy.
mm.
I don't want people to think that phages are inherently Nazi based. Just
Right.
no more than rockets.
Yeah,
Okay,
right.
but
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Are you taking that Nazi phage stuff?
yeah.
Yeah, right.
Any day now. I'm sure people will
Yeah,
start
yeah,
equating
yeah,
it. So
yeah. Um,
yeah, so
okay,
it
so
was basically one guy really early on started an institution there, so that bred the ability to use phages locally.
but did he leave because he was doing, was it questionable the way he was doing stuff, or he just
No,
wasn't
he
having
got
luck?
pissed off with the university.
Right, okay, all right.
Yeah,
Is that
and
something that's easy to do? Is that like, I guess I could see people who are
oh,
trying to,
definitely,
yeah.
yeah.
It's a well, with any organization, right? I guess you have, there's lots of things to get through to get what you need. Although
There's
setting up
also
the
lots of
lab looked like a
egos.
lot of fun.
Yeah,
You look like you had so much fun setting up that lab.
it was great. Yeah.
You got little robot pipette things. You got
Yeah.
all sorts of. I mean, yeah, I
I
really.
have I have a new robot you haven't seen yet, which I've actually technically is not mine. I've stolen it from someone, and they
Yeah,
haven't asked for it back yet.
that's fine.
So I had a student with disabilities come work in the lab over the
Mm-hmm.
summer,
Yeah.
and she had limited mobility in her hands and was in a wheelchair. So
Mm.
trying to pipette is like the most common thing we do in the lab, and it was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
she was struggling with that. So I borrowed. They'll never get it back.
Yeah. Sure,
Borrowed a pipetting
you can
robot.
take this robot away
Yeah.
from the woman who needs to,
Yes.
to do the pipette.
Look at this child. Look at her.
Yeah.
What are you, a monster?
Yeah.
It's just I know you are aware. Intention of some people and what people actually do for people with disabilities is amazingly different. Like, I asked multiple companies, could you lend us stuff for summer? Radio silence. And then 2 companies would have like given me the moon if I asked. And it's just this difference in like, obviously if you get someone who understands and cares and gives a shit, they were like, I will do anything I can do to help. And other people like, we don't need this.
Yeah.
Like, why are you even bothering us asking us? So
That's wild. So you found a company that was like, yeah, let's go.
yes, yeah, Gilson Pipettes. Thank you, Gilson.
Gilson Pipettes. There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Let's give them a shout out. Gilson
Yeah.
Pipettes. Okay. And they are a robotic pipetting company.
They make just the best pipettes.
Oh,
They also make robotic pipettes. I didn't get the robot from her. I borrowed that from a different lab. They lent her a series of handheld robotic pipettes, so you don't have to fully push the button down to actuate it. It's just like it's a simple button press. So normally you have to. I don't have a pipette. at
Oh
home.
yeah, I
You
know
hold
it well.
all the way
You
down.
gotta go all the way down, and then it's
Yeah.
definitely
So hers were just a single button press did that action for her.
right. That's great. Well, and it also, you know what? That's something that's going to help in the future, anyways, because it's an exact science, and pipetting is
yeah.
not as easy as it looks.
Definitely.
I played a little bit with some pipetting with the Odin folks, and then
Yeah.
I have a bunch of them here, which I'm dying to play with again. At some point, when my wife lets me bring stuff back into
Bring the fungus back inside.
Yeah, I got to bring you leave that fungus outside, young man. Okay, so that gets you where you are today. You've got the lab. Do you mind if we go to some questions? Can we
No.
yeah, okay. There's a couple of people who are like real keeners, way ahead. Sky being one of them. Okay, and it says here, here's a few to choose from. I'm gonna just change this so I can see what the hell's going on. Is there any? Well, before I say that, is there anything you want to touch on that we haven't touched on?
Oh, loads, but like we'd be here all day.
Okay, that's right.
We can talk about. I think I'm surprised you haven't brought up AI yet.
I haven't, just because I feel bad, because I feel like I always just nail people with that question. But you're a fan of it, are you not? You're like you like it?
Yes and no.
Yeah.
Yes and no. I got it. Definitely has its values. Of the things I'm anti against are I also teach, and
Right.
I have students trying to cheat all the time using AI. And
Really, it's
yeah.
all
It's
the
not so. I've built my course so they can't cheat, so it's a lot harder for them to do it.
in what ways? You just how is it?
Yeah. So there are only really two homeworks that I assign, and they both require you to go onto a website that designs primers to copy DNA.
Huh.
And they have to send me those files from that website. And as far as I'm aware, even the agent-based AIs can't yet log in and do those things to that level. I might be wrong, but if they are, they're doing it really badly because people got struggle with that homework.
Failing with it because they're all failing.
Yeah.
It's a weird thing, isn't it? Because the reality is, I guess, is if there are tools out there that could do that, would they not get used in the actual world, the real world, like outside of academia?
If they are using those tools currently, the tools are doing it wrong.
Right. Okay.
So I've learned how to think. I've learned how to take evidence and read a paper. I think I'm with Juniors yesterday. They said something. I was like, I disagree with like the summarizing of a research paper. I'm more than happy now I could ask AI to summarize a research paper to me, but part of the way your brain works when you summarize something for yourself is an integral part of understanding and being able to develop future knowledge, I think.
Yeah.
Again, that's not to say like under no circumstances should we ever do that. It's just it's a skill that you should develop because it allows you to condense information down and then apply it. If the machine's doing that for you, you're shortchanging yourself a little bit in terms of like how you are able to understand the topic.
It sort of just depends on your level, isn't it? Like for me, it allows me to peer into these papers that I would have no way of doing otherwise. I always read the abstract and always could read the abstract. That was fine, but I could never get further than that because it required a level of expertise that I didn't have. So,
and that's fine again. And I use it for coding all the time.
All the time. Wonderful for that. But to me, that's just like. But to me, that's just like another form of coding, right? It's just like we went from COBOL to Visual Basic to, and now it's natural language programming. Yeah. You say what you need it to do, and you should understand how it works, obviously. But and there's some real security issues with that as well.
Yes. Oh yeah. But I'm not working. I wouldn't use it to analyze patient data or protect medical data because it's not safe. But I've also found that my now ability to think about how to put together like an R code has diminished because I don't remember how to do that anymore because I haven't been doing it. And part of that memory has atrophied in a surprisingly short time.
Well, it's like languages. If you don't use them all the time, you don't.
Definitely.
We retain what we use.
There is a use to me to be able to put together like how should I arrange my statistical questions to answer my scientific research goals. And I think there's value in still doing that. The other scary thing I've had is this year was the first year where obviously students have gone through the last 3 or so years having access to these models. My midterm I set a short essay question. Half the students just refused to answer it. That's never happened.
Just refuse to answer.
It just didn't answer. Like, I don't know how to answer this. And it's like I've taught the same course multiple years. It's the same slides. The only thing that's different is the students, right? I even went back and checked, because I record all the lectures to make sure, like, if people can't make it to lecture, they can listen to the lectures and stuff. All the slides are available, and the average score went down by 10 points, and that has terrified me. It's like, okay. That's not to say stop all AI. We shouldn't be using that. We have to work out
how to use this
how
properly.
how do we make sure students are actually able to engage with research questions?
Still have that critical thinking,
Yeah.
still be able to do these things.
Yeah.
I mean, there's all double whammy as well, because you also had the
Yeah.
pandemic as well, where everyone was
Oh,
just
definitely. Yeah. There's
so you get that and AI, and it's not the
Yeah.
educational aspect of the stuff is
and they're just smelly children. Like they're young kids.
ah,
They're ugly. They're
oh man, I hope they watch this.
but no, as you said the other day with like AI scripts and stuff, like I could send an AI script to you. I could send you a thing, and like, there's no value in you having input in this. I didn't make it. A machine made it, and there's.
Yeah, my thing is there's a somewhere in there. I don't know. There's like a little leap of something in there that I'm trying to figure out. But I feel like if you want to learn something, you'll dive into it. You'll go into it. You'll if you're curious, you will follow that path. You don't want the AI to do the learning for you. You just want the AI to help you. Assist you in getting some of that knowledge.
My top students are still the same. The top of the bimodal distribution. So the students who are doing really well, and then it used to be like a tail off down. Now it's two separate peaks.
Really,
the students who are doing great. So I have a student who's actually in my lab who's taking my class, and she came like second in the class for the exam. I said, how did you study for this? She's like, I studied my ass off. I've read the slides. I listened to lecture notes. I made notes, and I can tell who's going to probably do well in the exam because they're the ones sitting in class writing stuff down or typing it on the keyboard and not searching YouTube while I'm talking.
But the question is, are there more of those or less than those?
I think it's the same number.
Well, so maybe people are just wasting their time at university when they shouldn't be.
I hate to say that, but I don't understand how, again, I wasn't supported by my family when I was at university. I worked several jobs to be able to put myself through university. At no point would I I'm just going to sleep in or not pay attention. This is costing me.
Yes,
this is costing me a shit ton of money, even with my scholarship. I'm having to work in a dingy pub. I've got to rush this at 6 p.m. Got to go work there now and take shit all night, and so I get to do this.
Yeah,
and then again, my university wasn't that expensive. It was still.
But you were still paying for it.
I was still paying for it, and it's opportunity cost. I could go get another job and not have to live in a dingy student dig with
But you want to learn. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, I feel like that's something that AI will never take. I worry. Well, maybe there are people who could be coerced into that and eventually get to the point where they are more curious about stuff. I just feel like we've got to find that way of prolonging that curiosity that the kids come into these educational facilities with, without them going well, wait a second, it's just easier if I just get that to do it for me. What does it matter? I mean, I remember a friend of mine saying years after high school, unfortunately, he goes, well, math isn't about math. Math is teaching you how to think. And I was like, I wish I thought about it that way when I was a kid.
That's exactly it. I don't care if the students really, in 10 years' time, remember how an HPLC machine works. What I care about is that they've turned on that part of their brain that says, if I need to understand something, I now know how to do it. And I don't think AI, or at least the ways we use AI, bridges that connection between someone being able to develop an understanding of a topic.
Yeah, I agree. I see it. I mean, the number of, I remember when it first happened, people would send proposals for things, and I'd be like, oh my God, it's taken you 1 second to spit out 6 pages of crap that I have to go through. And I'm not going to go through anymore. I just don't it's unfortunately it does definitely affects the reading aspect of this stuff.
Well, you the thing I sent you wasn't AI generated because it was boring as shit.
There you go.
So actually, I did use that to help me format it. So I put it into a LaTeX document so it was the correct script formatting. That's the main thing I was playing with. How does the AI language know LaTeX formatting, which is used often in
It does.
scientific. It does, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So it was like,
It's
oh, this is fantastic. I
format
can
again.
save so much time doing this. I can just ask it to format this document.
Well, that's it. I mean, I remember when desktop publishing first happened. Everyone said, "Oh my God, that's it. Everyone's going to have a book." It's like,
Yeah.
well,
Really? It's still,
yeah.
yeah.
So there's a
Yeah.
lot of crappy books out there, but
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
also it makes it easier for some of those people who do have that drive.
Yeah.
How do we? So the question is, how do you marry these This has always been the case, though, hasn't it? Marrying the technology with the education.
Definitely. Yeah. Yeah.
How do we,
Yeah. I'm quite upset about the M dash being co-opted by AI.
There's a
You
few
can
people who are
you can
very
look at my old papers. I used M dash before AI, so that's all
luckily,
I'm saying.
I use ...
Okay.
which incorrectly in every way, and add an exclamation and a question mark in the wrong order as well. So it's the worst. No, I'm like, I write like a comic book. All right. So there were questions. Sorry, I completely co-opted.
That's all right.
Well.
Oh no, I threw. So I said you're not going to ask me about AI. Then I
yeah, you did. That was a leading question.
That was me.
Okay, so you've worked. This is from Sky, who's always fabulous about providing me with questions when the fabulous Agne is not around. You've worked on science education videos like Kurt's Kasab, providing fact checking and such. What was a video you worked on that you would recommend everyone to watch today? Ooh. Any favorites you got there?
I really like the rabies video.
Oh, really?
I think the rabies video is one of my favorites.
Okay, rabies, which sounds like a pretty wild virus. Yes. Okay. Right.
Yeah. I thought that the animation's beautiful.
Their visual sense of stuff is absolutely extraordinary.
If you'd asked me like 5 years ago, I probably would have said the coronavirus video, because that was the one I probably put the most, I don't want to say effort, because it implies I didn't apply myself to the other ones, but the coronavirus video, I wrote to Philip. Right. At the time was the owner. He still is the owner, but was also the CEO. But the guy in charge of Coxside at the time, and said, I think it was February, second week of February 2020. I was like, FYI, this thing is going to be bigger than previous ones, almost guaranteed to be a global pandemic. It's not like the previous flus.
Yeah.
Would you like me to start working on a video? Or would you like to start working on a video? And they wrote back and said, 2020 is going to be a year of like no stress projects. We've got everything planned out. We're going to have like a nice, easy, not too, no rushes last minute to get things out. We're going to take, mental health year. I was like, okay, cool. So I started in the background making notes, taking videos. Because I was like, I'll just do my own video. Sure. It'll be one of the first ones. And then sometime in like March, I want to say a month later, Philip called me back up. It's like, hey, about that video.
I'm stuck at home right now.
How quick could you write it?
Yeah.
I was like, well, I've already been working on it. But then, we wrote that video, and it was animated in less than 2 weeks.
Wow.
Which for Kirk's art is basically 10 times quicker than any other video they've ever made.
That's insane.
And
it looked good.
It looked great.
I mean, it was a great one. Yeah.
Yeah. Most of the time was me. I was up working like 22 hours a day, reading every single preprint, because most of the stuff hadn't even been published yet. It was pre-printing, trying to read everything to try and understand where the links between the previous coronaviruses and COVID-19, what things were probably the same, what things were shared, what differences did we know now, and why was this different? And then I stand by that video as probably the best scientifically, because everything I said was right.
Right.
Everything I was like, we think this and this, and then it turns out that was why. And it was like, nice. We nailed a bunch of the early research there.
What would you write about it now? Would it change? Would you change? Like, I mean, what's the perspective on? I feel like
so Philip asked me, like, do you want to do an update video? And I said, I don't see the value of doing an update video aside from getting views and stuff. The public health side of things
is covered.
The thing we need to understand from viruses like COVID and other long things is the long-term repercussions of how this has changed people's and immune systems and caused things like long COVID, and we don't know enough yet.
Yeah,
there's not been enough work on that. How has this caused an immunological dysfunction in a wide swath of the population?
And do you think you think we're going to find?
We 100%.
Really?
We are. One positive we seem to be seeing is that some of the vaccines I believe the mRNA vaccines seem to have some protective effect against some cancers.
Oh, right. I
No idea
saw
why.
that. Yeah.
No idea why.
Don't you
Not
love
a clue.
that? Don't you?
Yeah,
Ah,
I do.
yeah.
Everything's a balance.
Yeah.
Everything is a tip. So if we're getting protective defense against cancer, what are like? Hopefully, it's just the shit we had to put up with, like feeling like crap for 48 hours after the vaccine.
Right.
But a lot of the UK vaccines, they used an adenovirus vector, so like it's literally a viral coat to deliver the spike protein for the non-mRNA vaccines. A lot of those vectors were co-opted from really quite cool anti-cancer therapies that were being developed at the same time. So the problem is now, if we try and use those same vectors again as a cancer treatment, people will have a weird immune response to the vaccine, to the cancer vaccine. So this is what I would consider doing a video about, but it's too easy of a topic to be manipulated into like, oh, we shouldn't take vaccines. It's like, no, that's not the message. The message is we need reliable, responsible public health messaging. But I'd rather not open that can of worms because there's no way it doesn't get twisted into an agenda.
Are you still doing like masks and stuff when you travel and things? Do you don't know me neither. Okay. All right, good.
I only just got COVID last year for the first time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I thought I escaped
if you hadn't had it, you just didn't know you had it. I thought that was the,
No.
Really?
I definitely
was it bad? Did you get it bad?
It wasn't terrible. It was like a bad cold for me, which I'm grateful for. Obviously.
I think I've had it almost 3 times now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the third time was the only time that it would bothered my respiratory. That's when it bothered my.
I should say you should wear a mask if that makes you feel comfortable. It will protect you and it will protect other people.
I was just curious for your own personal.
I don't see the. I don't want to say I don't see the value, but having had it and all these other things, I don't think it's a requirement for me for public safety to wear one.
If I had an underlying condition that I was worried about, obviously you're going to wear them. And also, if you're sick, put a mask on. Like I like that for anything. Like I
have a friend currently she's having chemotherapy currently. I'm going to wear a mask around her.
Yeah. Okay.
Of course I am. I'm not a crazy monster, but there's it's I don't judge people negatively if they still wear a mask for
me
COVID.
neither.
That sounds great. I have no negative opinion of that at all.
Yeah, I mean the funny thing was that it was not something that North Americans generally did. It was something that you generally saw other countries were doing the mask stuff originally, and part of that was a courtesy.
Yes,
it was because if you had a cold or a cough, put a mask on, and you're not going to blast it all over the place. It's a fabulous idea.
Masks are much better at stopping it going out.
That's what and in a way, I think I would probably be more prone to wear a mask now if I had like a cough or something.
Oh yeah, if I had to fly and I had the flu, I'd put a mask on.
Right.
If
okay, so all right, so questions. So the question was your favorite video, and your favorite video you think is either like rabies with a
I think the
caveat of the coronavirus is a different love.
That video will always hold a special place in my heart because I think it almost stopped it several times.
Right, there you go. Yeah. Okay. Here, sorry. Another question for you about the COVID stuff.
Yeah.
Why is there so much pushback on the vaccine thing? Why do we feel like we've suddenly? I feel like I grew up in a world where that was maybe it's because I had a doctor as a father.
Yeah.
But it was just everyone just assumed you got shots and it stopped all these horrible things from happening. And now I feel like there's a whole different perspective on it. I mean,
I wish I had an answer of how it happened. I kind of think I know why it became a right versus left issue.
It's weird, isn't it? That it became
which it never used to be growing up.
No,
it almost actually was slightly inverted. Where
I was going to say it's almost the opposite. The hippies wouldn't take their
wouldn't take. Yeah. But there's a lot of the hippies and the people who are selling to the hippies were also quite far right Russian people, oligarchs as well.
Right,
so there's always this weird thing. Like actually, the people you think are behind healthcare stuff, they're some are horrible, horrible people.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it became an issue of left versus right, which was, again, strange because not to give Trump loads of credit for those things, but Operation Lightspeed,
Yeah. How quickly that. Yeah.
great bit of presidency, like that, fantastic, well done. That was, we should have called it the Trump vaccine. Like,
Yeah,
that
you think we
helped.
totally should have called it that, shouldn't he? Yeah, yeah.
Like,
He missed an opportunity.
Yeah,
Which is weird for him.
and
Yeah.
again, to give credit where credit's due for any politician, he has said multiple times he took it and would take it again. And then,
Right.
but then he's also said, "Oh, children take to me as kids take to me vaccines as children," which just isn't true.
Yeah, that's bizarre. This some
Yeah,
this some
yeah.
bizarre.
But it became a political issue, which at that point there's very little people like me can do.
Right.
Like I
So
can
you don't
tell
think there's no point in putting more education out there about it? It's just at this point you think it's
No, I don't. I think we would just be throwing, stones at a completely closed castle,
okay.
in terms of
Yeah.
like anything. I am a liberal left-wing professor nutjob who wants to take away your freedoms. That's a great soundbite.
You damn hippie. You damn hippie props.
Yeah.
That's
and
interesting. I mean that's
yeah.
the way it looks to me, is that it becomes a political
and
thing.
it's
Not a
terrifying because
scientific
we know what happens if you don't follow public health advice. We've seen this time and time again. Like Mbeki's government in South Africa is a classic example. So early 90s, Nelson Mandela transitions power to Mbeki. HIV is running rampantly through South Africa. Mbeki decides that he's not going to follow the scientific community. Instead, he's going to say that the cause of HIV is not the virus, it's the fact that we have poverty in South Africa. That's what's causing people to actually die. He follows notable AIDS denialists, invites them to give talks and stuff in South Africa, and at least 400,000 people died that didn't need to die.
Right.
Just from that governmental decision, because he decided. And again, you can also look back and say he's not incorrect in the fact that if South Africa was a more
More money, they'd have more money to,
yeah, there'd be fewer deaths. But the virus does definitely exist. The virus is real and it kills you, regardless if you have $1 million in the bank or zero. Like it's not, it doesn't care. If you have $1 million in the bank, you can probably afford HAART, though, like highly active antiretroviral treatment. That's the big difference. Like, but the denial of science and, by extension, reality will always have tragic consequences, like, no matter who you are. And by saying we don't necessarily need vaccines, children and vulnerable people will die.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, where are the resources for you? What are the places you get your information from? Who do you like to go to for stuff, information about? I mean, obviously you're doing the papers, university papers and stuff.
If it's a scientific question, I go to the literature.
Yeah. Okay.
If it's outside my field, if it's about mathematics or something like that, I'm not an expert in mathematics. I couldn't tell you too much about it.
Right.
If it's chemistry or things like that, again, like I have limited ability to understand it.
But a normie like me,
yeah,
where do I go to get information about
again?
What do you like?
I don't know. I don't know. There isn't a comprehensive, like, these are the people to listen to.
So you can't just go to the World Health Organization. You can't just go to.
If you mean like that society, I think you meant like an individual.
Oh no. Individuals, I figure they've always got their own
still
thing.
does have decent information.
Yeah.
World Health Organization. Those two are great places to ask specifically.
Okay, so there's not
Health Canada. Is it still Health Canada? Whatever the local.
I didn't even know we had a Health Canada. I mean, yes, Health Canada. they've got good information as well, do they?
Yes, yeah. The one very useful thing about bureaucracy is it tends to protect against the incursion of bad ideas.
Right. Right.
Like, so if you have even the CDC, a lot of the information is still present, accurate, and correct, because it's it's hard to turn a lumbering beast like that. And that doesn't mean the information is always up to date, but the information
Right.
that's there is typically good.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, let's get to some other questions here. We got it before I drag you down to the. I feel like I don't know why we got back to that. Okay. If you had your own educational internet platform as a biologist, what would be the first 3 topics you would cover? That's a great question. So, what are the 3 key things that you'd cover to get people into this stuff?
I'm gonna give you a bad answer. It depends what my goal of that platform is.
Okay.
Know your audience. Speaking from the sort of content creation side of things, you want to make sure that whatever you're trying to say is in line with the audience. Like it wouldn't make sense for me to have a popular science thing and then deliver my dry, boring lectures I give in classes. Like those would not work.
Right.
The topics I'd find most interesting, I think the biggest, on YouTube it was always a pushback against this idea again that diseases aren't important or aren't real.
Right.
That anti-vax mentality. I think one of my personally my most popular videos was on Andrew Wakefield, the guy who fabricated the MMR vaccine scandal.
Huh.
But yeah, it would depend on the topic. If it's hey, I'm trying to tell you about biology, I think watching people in the lab is pretty fun.
Yeah.
I've done it. I streamed a couple of times from the lab when I was in there.
Yeah, I've got to catch some of those.
I haven't done one in a while. I haven't had time to be in the lab, but yeah, just again, like seeing that the process of science isn't like we don't all sit around in armchairs smoking pipes going to eureka. It's a lot of dull and meticulous measurements and counting and moving liquids from
one thing to another. I love that too. Yeah, I'm going to just pop this in the chat, which is it's a link to your channel, so people can actually see what you're talking about there. And I think that will go. It should go to YouTube as well, but sometimes that doesn't work. Okay, other questions. We've got some other questions here. I'm going to pop down. This is Ivan from Russia, who says from Russia with love. Can bacteriophages be used in any way to fight cancer cells?
Probably in some very roundabout way, but not via their typical infectious protocol. Like they just don't infect the cells, but we've used them to display antibodies before, and there's probably easier ways to do it.
Okay.
It'd be much easier just using another kind of virus. It's far more likely to infect and get in and do its stuff.
If you're dealing with cancer, though, is a bacterial infection an issue?
Can be, yeah,
can be
definitely. It can be a comorbidity where again you have a weakened immune system because of things like chemotherapy. You can get an infection. We need to treat those. Again, that's where a lot of these deaths are going to come from. The sort of the cases where people are exposed and normally would still get sick, but we could treat them.
Right.
But
they're already compromised, so they're okay.
At risk.
All right. So he's got a couple other questions here, which are kind of fun. Is there any discovery that James made and was very excited about? And what was that?
Daily, yeah, all the time. Most recently, I can't tell you one because we're trying to patent it, which is just amazing.
Okay, all right.
I love that. This is great stuff. But the other one I can talk about is it's work on CRISPR-Cas. So
yes,
everyone who knows what it is probably knows it as this sort of way we can engineer genetic material, make mutants, all sorts of cool stuff like that.
Genetic scissors.
Yeah. It comes from bacteria to defend themselves against phage. That's where it comes from. It's the phage defense system. And ever since like 2011 is the first time I saw this number being put around. So a very famous researcher said, if we look at bacteria and archaea, the other kind of not eukaryotics, not bacteria, there's the third type of life, they typically have a much higher percentage of CRISPR-Cas in their genomes. So they're far more likely to have this CRISPR-Cas gene. It's a bunch of genes, but this CRISPR-Cas module in their genomes. And this has always bothered me. Always bugged me because it's like 40% versus 90%, so much higher.
Really?
Yeah. And I had a master student start working in my lab about a year ago, and I was like, I want you to go. I think this number's bollocks. Go do these things, because the issue is sampling bias. If I take a bacteria from the sewage or from a lake, probably quite diverse between those two environments. Most of the archaea genomes we had in early 2000s, 2010 especially, we only had like 200 genomes sequenced. Now we have, I think, 60,000 or so. Wow. If I take any random genome, archaea genome, and ask what year it came from, it's either this year or last year.
Wow.
More often than not.
Okay.
More than half have been sequenced the last 18 months.
Right.
The problem is those first like 100, 200 genomes were all from really, really weird environments. Because if I said to a biologist, go find me an archaea, they'd go look at like a deep sea hydrothermal vent or like a super acidic lake.
Right.
Once we get
extremophiles, or the archaeas are extremophiles?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're not all extremophiles though. That's the key thing.
How are they distinguished from either? How do
bacteria?
Yeah.
They've got slightly different genome structures. They have slightly different ribosomes and stuff like that. They're sort of this third thing. They look like bacteria, but they're not quite bacteria.
Okay.
And they're not quite eukaryotes.
Right.
Like
Okay.
us.
Okay.
Yeah. So my master student went away, got all the archaea genomes. She had good data from where they came from. Like, are they from super salty conditions or freshwater conditions? And when we look at those, that number just disappears. So this number that still gets repeated. Like I reviewed a paper like 2 weeks ago that still cites that number. It's wrong. And there's nothing better than being able to show someone quite famous is wrong about something they've been saying for 10, 15 years.
Yeah, scientists are mean. They really are. They love proving each other wrong.
Yeah, but aside from helping my career, it's also just gonna push the field forward, because we're gonna say there isn't actually something different.
Yeah,
that thing we thought is incorrect. We can now look at it and say it depends what environment you came from. That's the thing that matters. So when we look at non-crazy environments, they're just the same as bacteria.
How does one get credit for this stuff? Like, or
I publish it, and I then go to a conference, or other people cite it, and then it becomes known that I was the one who said it.
And then you and this will all help with the professorship as well.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. Okay,
100%.
great. Oh, wow, that's really cool though. But I love the way that you just go like, wait a second, I don't like that number. Let's see if we can figure out if there's poke some holes in it type thing. But
that's been in the back of my head for a decade though. That was
right.
It's
but
always.
Now you got the lab.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I've got resources and people that have to listen to me.
That's fantastic. Or they fail. There's a fun, silly question that Ivan has, which is, are there any practical uses for bacteriophage in case of a zombie apocalypse? Which I suppose if you go to The Last of Us is not.
Yeah.
It's,
If the zombie apocalypse is caused by bacteria, yes.
Yeah.
If it's just regular cordyceps or whatever the thing from, is it cordyceps in Last of Us?
They are cordyceps. Yeah. I think so.
Then it would just be good to treat. There's that. I don't know if you have that same fantasy. Like, if you went back in time, what things would you invent? And like it.
Yeah. Wow.
Antibiotics has got to be one of the top ones.
Right.
Like
I always wanted to make the transistor. I always thought like that would be the one where you go, I got this. Yeah.
You can work it out. Like I personally, I'd build a lathe. It depends how far back you go, but
you do a lot of woodwork stuff.
Don't you? A ton of woodwork.
Yeah.
But then be able to turn precision stuff. Like, I can make guns and barrels and all sorts of stuff.
Right.
Forget medicine, warfare.
I love that you just went straight to the weapons. Yeah. I'd go back and make guns. Yeah.
I went back a week.
Yeah.
Bought a gun.
All right, let me check for some more questions here, because I know there were people who were talking about having some more here, so I should check the email. Okay, you're still good for time?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I'm gonna.
The only problem might be my bike mechanic might turn up.
Right, the bike mechanic. I forgot about that. Okay,
he turned up an hour late, so he had to take it back to the shop to do something to it. So.
All right, this is a question from Go for Chris, who says, you talked about your work with genetics.
Yeah.
I have an auto-inflammatory disease called familial Mediterranean fever.
Mediterranean.
It is Mediterranean. I was thinking it's something really fancy. Fever that has been thought to have come about to fight bubonic plague. Are you looking at things like that and patients with autoinflammatory diseases? Mine is missing pyrin from my DNA, the proteins that control inflammation in the body. Wow.
Yeah.
That is a specific question. Mediterranean.
Mediterranean.
Yeah.
I am not looking at Mediterranean familial fever. Was it familial Mediterranean fever?
Mm.
Um,
Familial
I don't know
Mediterranean
anyone who
fever.
is, but a lot of when you boil down a lot of genetic diseases, a lot of things, a lot of it ends up being how it interrupts and stops parts of the immune system from working.
Mhm.
Even cystic fibrosis, like which is the most common genetic mutation in Caucasians, the actual mutation causes a pump on the cell surface to not move ions across correctly. So potassium, sodium, those kind of things. It doesn't causes dehydration, but it also somehow seems to interrupt parts of the immune system from working correctly. So, is that an immune disorder? Yes. Is it the main the main thing you see is not so much immune related, but we know their immune systems don't work the same as people who don't have the disorder. Most of my work, and this is a key sort of difference as well. I'm a microbiologist. The people who work on immunology typically are cellular biologists, and like there are entire departments of hundreds of people just working on this type of cell line and this type of infection and this type of thing. Like it's very, very nebulous. I would not be allowed in a cellular biology lab.
Really?
Well, I'm joking. But
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
It'd be very unusual for me to be like, oh, cool. I'm finished with my CS stuff today, and now I'm going to go work on another genetic disorder.
Right.
We're very hyper focused on our specific topics.
So incredibly specialized, basically.
Yeah. Yes.
Wow, okay.
That's the 2 second way to say what I just spent a minute waffling about.
No. That's no. What's we got? Oh, he's got another one actually. Here, look. Okay, but same sort of issue. So I'm gonna stick. I'll stick with this. Christopher James. Are there any safe, evidence-based, natural ways to support our immune system before surgery? There's some very specific questions here to help lower the risk of antibiotic-resistant infections.
I should say I'm not a medical doctor. This is not medical advice.
Yeah,
Please
yeah,
please don't listen to some
yeah.
random guy on the internet. I saw this question earlier as well in the chat. It popped
Oh,
up.
did you? Okay, all right. Okay.
Yes, I was going to try and get to it.
Okay.
The short answer is no. Outside of doing a normal amount of exercise, eating correctly, those sort of things, there is not a pill you can take to drastically improve your immune system in any way. That's not been shown. That's if you're sick and you're obviously going in for some sort of procedure, there's probably a high likelihood you are sick. There are things you can do. You can get good sleep is probably the best. And it's the worst thing to say to someone is like, oh, just try and relax.
Oh, I
sick.
know.
Just relax.
You need more sleep. Okay.
Yeah. That's probably the closest thing to a proven improvement for an immune system is just to make sure you're well rested.
Really?
Annoying enough, there's times when you're too rested though for immune system stuff. But eat correctly. Don't overdo drinking or smoking. Eat a varied diet. I don't
like anyone smokes anymore, anyways. I mean,
I like kombucha and stuff. I think there's good evidence that microbiome type foods do make you healthier, make you better, less likely to be sick. But in a short term, is there something you can take to improve your odds? No. The best thing you can do is just live a healthy life.
And sleep.
Everything
over and over. Sleep seems to.
Yeah. Again, that's my opinion, not medical advice.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. But there is no magic pill that you can take that's going to stop you from getting some kind of horrible bacterial infection if you're going.
There is. It's called an antibiotic.
Right. Antibiotic. Well, there you go. Yeah. I guess that's yeah. Okay. So we're on to. Boy, there's a lot of questions for you. Nope. That is not. That is a meeting for tomorrow. Because unfortunately, the finance guys, James as well. Look at that. Okay, so connect to the MU. Okay, so let's go. Let's just go into the chat then, because it looks like we've got stuff in here as well. Minimize about phage antibiotic thing. David, he was a zombie. Are there any things that jump out to you as misconceptions? Are the things about I mean, I know that for myself, I would interchange virus and bacteria all the time. That was just always and I see people still doing that to some
It
extent.
happens.
Yeah.
Fundamentally, it doesn't make a massive difference to most discussions. Like it's we can't see them, touch them, or sense them with our own perception. So it's sort of like, well, it doesn't matter if it's called a virus or bacteria. No, it matters when you like think about in terms of treatments and stuff. Like if I go to the doctor with a nondescript cold, chances are it's probably something viral.
Right.
I would argue it doesn't make sense to give me any sort of intervention unless I'm dying. Kind of, if it's going to be self-resolving, probably don't intervene. Because if we give an antibiotic, it's not going to help, and it's not going to do anything against the virus. And in the worst case, it might just increase the antibiotic resistance level of a pathogen in my body.
Maybe we should explain on antibacterial resistance how that works. That's basically the bacteria is getting used to fighting off these things.
Used to it's again. So let's think in terms of evolution. So what's actually happening? Let's say we have 10 bacteria in a population. They each have some mutation, because when you copy your DNA, when we copy our DNA, we also make mistakes. Everything makes mistakes when it copies DNA, and there'll just be one or so mutation per cell per bacteria. When we add the antibiotic, it happens at this time that one of those mutations changes the structure of a protein that antibiotic interacts with. So now the antibiotic can't bind into that pocket or do something with that protein. That bacteria now survives. The rest all die. So it hasn't got used to it. Hasn't like, oh, I've smelt this antibiotic before. I can fight it off this time. It's everything else died.
Right.
And this was just happened to be the lucky one to survive. And that mutation now divides, and next time you hit it with antibiotics, everyone in the population, because it's all divided from that one single bacteria.
Right. They all have that immunity to it now. Wow.
Yeah. That's the difference. Like the other way of thinking about it again is this sort of, it's more Lamarckian type evolution, where Lamarck had this idea of evolution before Darwin, where he thought if you did something during your life, that would be the thing that gets passed on. So a blacksmith hammering away every day at his anvil, his kid would have a bigger forearm because his dad did stuff to. And there are times where Lamarckian evolution does happen.
Like the epigenetics side of stuff? Yeah.
CRISPR is also a great example. CRISPR is literally Lamarckian evolution, so the way CRISPR-Cas works in the bacteria is the bacteria has the phage infects the bacteria, a bit of DNA comes in. If the CRISPR-Cas system wins, it cuts that bit of DNA up and then sticks it in the genome and says, next time I see this DNA, kill it.
Man, next time I see you, mister. Yeah.
So the next time the phage attacks, it's ready and it has an immune system against that thing. That is Lamarckian evolution. That's getting used to it. But for an antibiotic, it's almost always there happens to be a random mutation in the population that allows one survivor. And that mutation probably has some trade-off.
Right. It may be susceptible to something else instead now.
Yes.
I see. Potentially an antibacterial that you
drug,
haven't used.
Yeah, maybe it can't grow in a specific environment anymore. Maybe it can no longer make some product. And given how complicated these living organisms are, there's always going to be something we can tinker with.
Right. Well, and then we were talking about the CRISPR-Cas9 stuff.
Yeah.
You're saying that was always in bacteria.
Yeah,
it was always there. So why is it such a revolution? Is it because someone's
because we never saw it. We didn't notice it. Yeah, we literally like 2008 is when we first were like, well, no, seriously, what is that thing? So it was first, I want to say it was first seen in like 89. Someone said, oh, Yersinia, the thing that causes Black Death. It has these weird repeats in it. And the problem with the repeats for microbiologists and molecular biologists is when we sequence stuff, we go A, T, C, G, etc. We only sequence small chunks. Maybe at best, maybe 1,000 letters at a time. you then have to take that section of 1,000, another section of 1,000, another section of 1,000, and try and line them up and say, oh, this is where it overlaps. This is the
Oh
overlap here.
wow.
If you
You're
have a bunch
looking
of
for
repeats,
sequences. Oh God, yeah, it'd be impossible.
you don't know where that thing
Come on,
is.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's how it was first noticed. Like, oh, this makes it a pain to try and work out
Right.
how the genome goes together.
Why does it do this kind of thing?
Yeah. But then again, for a decade, people were like, don't worry about it. We used it
The
for
way it is.
Yeah, we used it in TB to type TB infections and say, oh, this is type AX whatever, and this is type B whatever, and type B is resistant to rampicillin or whatever. This one's more likely to be resistant to this drug. But we still didn't know what the bacteria were doing with this. And then I think around 2006 or so, we found out about RNA silencing, or that might be when they won the Nobel Prize. But this idea that eukaryotes can detect viral RNA, DNA coming to the cell and react to it and cut it up. And people were thinking about, oh, maybe bacteria have something similar to this. And then, it was found.
Really? So they were like, oh, interesting.
Yeah. So it was found 3 papers all around 2007, 2008, all published roughly the same time saying, we think this might be a defense system against phages. And they showed that if you have the right genetic information in the CRISPR array, you could resist the phage. And then that went on again for another 3 or 4 years, and then Daubner and Charpentier and what's his name, Barangu, really showed that you could use it as an editing tool as well. By one of the easiest Nobel Prizes to win, just from like what they actually did, but genius and how they did it. Like it's one of these. A lot of Nobel Prizes are super complicated. Like it's decades and decades and decades of work. Not to say Charpentier and Daubner's work didn't take a long time to do, because it was very, very thorough. But the thing they won the Nobel Prize for is just beautifully simplistic. So in the bacteria, there are 2 bits of RNA. There's one which is like the guide, and there's one that catches the DNA. So these 2 things are separate, and the bacteria makes them in different positions in the genome. They just put a little linker between those 2 things, so that we could design this guide RNA as one single strand, put that into the system, and now we can target the DNA and bring the right protein machinery with it. It's just put a little extra bit of RNA on there.
Really?
And showed it worked. Again, that I don't want it to sound like, oh, that's such an obvious thing to do, because it wasn't. No one else had done it before. But it's so simple once you know. It's like, this is
how to do it.
Brilliant.
It's very simple. Because you can CRISPR-Cas9. I've played with that in my basement. I mean, it's which is mind blowing to me. Are you using it much? Or do you use it at all?
Not very much.
Funny
enough, with Pseudomonas, we don't really have to, because we can make mutants in it very, very easily. There was a paper a few years back where they made a CRISPR-Cas knockout for Pseudomonas. It was like, why? It doesn't need that.
Right.
You didn't solve a problem.
Just so they can.
You can, yeah.
So there's a question here from Durrell Tech Trekkie. God, I can't even say Mediterranean, so I don't know how to say that. Why are scientists not coming up with stuff like needleless vaccinations? I mean, you had them, something like hypospray, right?
Yeah.
We're doing that as well, though, aren't we? There
are needless. The problem,
people get virus. You get the flu vaccine up the nose now and stuff. They are,
we've done it.
Been there, done that.
Yeah. The biggest issue with a lot of like development of medical interventions has always been, is it as good as the current standard?
Right.
If hydro sprays and those sort of things, and
what is a hydro spray? What does that mean? What that means?
I believe the army used them for one of the vaccines, where basically you just have an air gun and a fluid, and you just go, and it just blows it into your tissues.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a lot less painful.
It's less painful?
Yeah.
I didn't even feel my COVID jab this time.
No, I mean,
she was so good. Yeah.
The development of an entire thing to get around the fact that a few people have a phobia of needles is not worth billions of dollars, and this is the sort of the value that companies like this work on. If it's not going to make
problem as well.
If it's like, well, we already have as an example, during COVID, one of the concerns we had for vaccine manufacturing and before things like Lightspeed became like some of the things that actually helped smooth over,
Right.
is if I am making a vaccine. Let's use this as an example. So this is a little ink pot, right? Because I'm a Victorian child and I still
You are not doing calligraphy, are you? Do you do calligraphy as well?
No, this is just I make pens, right? One of my woodworking.
Oh,
So,
of course, I forgot.
I make fancy pens with
Right.
this
You
is one of my
turn
pens.
pens.
Yeah, I turn pens like this.
Oh, wow.
But anyway,
Yeah.
this label on here, made by Parker, if this was a vaccine vial, the manufacturer of this label, the manufacturer of this bottle, and the manufacturer of the glue that sticks these things all have to be vetted, checked, made sure, corrected, and it's all standardized and it goes through multiple layers of bureaucracy. If you're going to bring a new vaccine to the market really quickly, where are you going to get the bottles from? Where are you going to get the labels from? There's all this crap, which I say crap saves lives at the end of the day. That's what it's designed. That's why it's
that
there.
life-saving crap.
But there's all these things. So like to get from we have, if I'm going to give you a vaccine, I know I'm going to use a 12 gauge needle from this company from these bottles. You're going to invert it for 2 seconds like this and take it out. And it's all those things have been worked out.
And standardized
then say,
in a way that they're easy to reproduce.
Reduces risk and all this sort of things. If you then say, well, can we try a hydrospray? It's like, it might be better, but we have a $2 billion pipeline before this to interrupt.
Right.
And you might save $40, $50. Like what's the benefit there? That's my capitalism take on why scientists have developed this. There are needless vaccines. They probably don't go to market because they don't have value.
And they're not as
to a company like that,
and they may not be as effective as the needles.
They might even be more effective, but it's that inertia of like we would have to scan all the stuff we have to
stupid
fix.
Practicalities of life. Yeah. Such a pain. Are there any questions that jumped out for you? There's one here that I thought was kind of interesting. Have you used VR in your work?
Have I used
the VR in your work? Have you done any of that?
No. But the university I work for does have a VR program for biology, which I keep meaning to go check out. Like, what are they doing? How does that work? I think it'd be very, very cool to sit inside a cell and watch these things happen. At that scale, and just be able to sit there and go, oh look, you can see the DNA. Because there's lots of things I still can't get my head around.
Yeah, that you could actually look at and see.
Yeah, and see, that's how it works.
Yeah, you see the simulations of those.
Yeah.
What are they?
But someone has to make that, and I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, true.
I even played around in Blender to try and learn how to use Blender to be able to do stuff like this at some point. And I was like, God, there's only so many hours you want to.
I love Blender, but it is not an intuitive piece of software, that's for sure. Yeah. But it's fun. It's fun for making like little,
Yeah, I made a little animation.
Did you? Which one? Is that the one? Did you show? Is the one you showed? There was something you showed me. I can't remember. This was a while back.
I can't remember if I showed you or not. But it's basically just a Phage dancing to.
Oh yeah, I saw it on Instagram or something. Yeah. You had like a dancing. Yeah, that's right. It was dancing to a terrible song, Macarena.
It wasn't dancing to Macarena. It was dancing to a song from South Africa.
Was it Macarena?
It wasn't Macarena. No. It was Young and Hip.
Was it?
It's new songs.
Okay, that's probably why I didn't recognize it.
Yeah.
Apparently, Blender is the devil's balls. That's according to Celestial Jigsaw. I'm not going to disagree entirely, but I will say what I love about it is open source, free.
Yes.
And if that's and very capable, incredibly capable software. What you can do with it. There was a fun question about. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to sort of like paraphrase, which was about basically if we go to other planets and find other bacteria there, possibly other bacterial phages. I guess.
Yeah.
Would that? Do you think is there any potential help for us in that?
Almost certainly.
Yeah.
Because it would be if. So it depends how that biology is different, right? So another Cookslot video I helped with, what was it called? I can't give you the name we used during making it, but
right, because you have like a production name and then the actual
which was quite rude.
Yeah. Was it really?
Yeah, but it's ancient life as old as the universe. So the idea of that video is there was a time for about 150 million years where the background temperature of the universe was warm enough for liquid water. So the entire universe was like 37 degrees Celsius.
Oh, wow.
For a
balmy
substantial amount of time, because it was just after the Big Bang. Obviously, the temperatures didn't drop straight away. It cooled down gradually, and there's also evidence at this time that there had been enough supernova events to have some of all the heavier elements. So the universe was warm enough for life, had all the elements it needed for life.
Everything it needed.
And everything was just like this soupy existence. And obviously then it expanded outwards. So at this point, if life actually started there and then it seeded the rest of the universe, this is the one thing I'd love to know in my lifetime. Like, other life in the universe, yay or nay, and if it looks like us, it has the same kind of DNA, there's a very real possibility that it all happened at the same time. Or Jesus is real, hallelujah, kind of thing, right?
God is
one of those two ones.
God is in the space.
Yeah.
Right, got it. Or in space.
Yeah. So the video goes into this idea of like, if we find life out in other parts of the world, other parts of the universe,
it's possible it started.
It's possible, like it's just been sat dormant, waiting for it to be like, like a desert waiting for the rain. Anyway, if we find life, let's say on Mars, and it's clearly just different from ours, it would help. It'd be hundreds and hundreds of lifetimes of people's work to study that. It'd be awesome,
right? And
it would probably, I imagine, would open our eyes to other types of modalities of life that we just haven't even considered. And there will be tricks we can do and things we can borrow, beg, and steal from to improve our own lives.
That's fascinating. It's one of the things that came up. I can't remember who said this, but that we are now in charge of our own evolution. That we as humans, it's more likely that we will steer our evolution the way we want it to go, rather than the time frame of evolution taking its toll on us.
I'm a big believer of we're probably going to end up killing ourselves because it seems the way we're headed. But there's something nice about that, right? If you think about even if
I don't know why I'm nodding my head, because I'm not sure where we're going with it.
I'm very persuasive, David. If you take everything that's ever gone extinct, even just on our planet, everything else went extinct because of something else. Something else did it to it. Sometimes us, sometimes volcanoes, sometimes asteroids.
Often us.
We would be the only species that could write in the book, we killed ourselves.
Right.
There's something nice about that, right? There's something like, hey, we did it. Like 99.9% of all life got killed.
Yeah.
We committed suicide.
We managed to do it ourselves.
I shouldn't say suicide on YouTube, should I? It's going to get
whatever. We've already, but this is that. Well, I was talking about that this morning. My frustration with that, where I hear people constantly self-censoring themselves for the algorithm, and I'm terrified it's going to kill discourse on things that we should be talking about.
I'll send you a video from a linguist, because I had the same concern, and she had a very good counter argument. I don't necessarily believe her, but I'll send you her video at some point.
Right.
About
You'll send me the
wrong. It's basically it happens every time, all the time, everywhere. Don't worry about it.
So as long as they come up with other terms for it that make
language progresses.
They talk about it's not, you don't say suicide, you say not living or unliving or something.
Yeah, I think unliving.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm crotchety. I don't even like people say what do people say about the there's some part of grammar that's bugging me. It'll come back to me. I'll flash in my head in a minute, but yeah, I just people saying by or on or something. That's it'll come back to me. I'm just being grumpy and old.
Yeah, I don't get my frustration with the changing languages. I just feel like the language is changing. Like I get frustrated that I don't understand some stuff. Yeah. But
she had an argument about even like the algorithmic intention of this is not something novel.
Well, okay.
Because that's what bothered me. Language changes. The problem is that our brain's been sculpted by. It's 1984, right? That our brain's been sculpted by an algorithm means we don't actually think in the ways that are useful to us as we should. That's largely the point of Newspeak in 1984. It limits the ability to have dissent.
Double plus good.
Yeah. So if an
God, it's
algorithm
amazing.
is doing that, if that is a real issue, then but she had a very good point, basically saying it's always happening.
Oh, great! No, I'd love to.
regardless of what you do.
I'd love to. That'd be amazing. Because I mean, the 1984 stuff is wild. I started reading that again recently, and I mean, literally sitting down with the book and reading it, and it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. Did you find Lance's question?
I did just see Lance's question. I think. So,
Let me guess. It's a very serious and
no, it's just it's attacking my teaching ability. He asked, "Does your grade distribution look like a hill or a saddle? If it's the latter, how are you failing as an instructor? Sincerely, the evil one." Yeah. I'll remind. So, what Lance is asking is, what's the distribution of the like grades in my class?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
My is bimodal, which means it looks more like a saddle. Oh no, I'm thinking of a camel. I don't know if it does look like a saddle. It definitely doesn't look like either. Yeah.
Yeah. What's it supposed to look like? What's
it's meant to be a normal distribution, like a curve with
the
like,
bell.
Yeah, a bell curve.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
It definitely is not. And I've been speaking to more and more professors lately, and that they're all saying the same thing. It's become bimodal.
Really? So you just got people who want to learn and people who want to get by.
Yeah.
And that's.
Lance has not been in a classroom for like 10 years, so he doesn't know what he's talking about. He's
Lance,
retired teacher, coming
true.
here telling the young hot profs what to do.
That's what I think when I think of you, James. Is hot young prof, definitely.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah,
I'll take the compliment.
Yeah, sure. Why not? Yeah. Tony Wright has a question, which is: how do you feel about government's national health services scaling back availability of COVID and flu jab?
Yeah.
Is that that's going to be an issue?
It's less so for COVID. There are, these decisions are made hopefully by rational choices and stuff. Again, the COVID pandemic is not over, but the cost and public health and even goodwill that, as we saw multiple times with like the pandemic, we can say all the things correct, but if we don't have the public on our side of how to behave, it doesn't matter. So there's this recalcitrant nature of like even if we know what we should be doing, we probably won't do it. We don't always act rational for our own health.
Right.
I would rather the COVID vaccine hadn't been withdrawn, but I understand some of the arguments of why it was. And the flu vaccine makes no sense to withdraw.
The COVID, the flu one doesn't make sense at all because that seems like a choice you make if you want to. I mean, I take a flu. I do the flu vax every year, and sometimes it works fantastically. Sometimes it doesn't. They don't get the right one. Whatever.
Even if they don't get the right one, the
I don't know what I haven't got.
Yeah. The point of the flu vaccine is not to protect you necessarily. It is a public health service where you reduce the likelihood of transmission events happening. Flu, if we all remember back to the pandemic, the thing we talked about earlier on was the R naught. How often does a virus, bacteria, whatever, spread from patient to patient? Things like measles, massive, 14. If one person has measles, they go into a room with uninfected people, 14 people will get it. Flu is like 1.2. If we can just turn that scale a little bit, we'll stop the flu from becoming endemic that year. That's what the vaccine's trying to do. Same thing with COVID. We were just trying to limit the ability of it to transmit. We didn't, and we at the beginning we didn't know if it was. I think the early estimates are something between 3 and 6, which would be horrendous. It luckily wasn't quite as high. Still pretty high.
No kidding.
But with an effective vaccine, the main public health benefit is the limitation of transmission.
Right.
I know people say we always know evidence that it reduces transmission. There is. The problem is it also possibly reduced the emergence of more deadly variants as well.
Are they still changing them? Like, are the COVID viruses?
Yes, they are still changing. But this is another reason why I understand some of the argument to reduce the vaccine thing. It's nowhere near as like. Right at the beginning, we had this explosive nature of. I saw a great talk by a guy called Taylor Bradford. This is along the time when actually I was like, "Oh Christ, this is going to be bad."
Yeah, right.
He had this really nice phylogeny of family tree of viruses, and showing that the COVID was spreading and becoming new distinct variants very, very quickly. And that has largely reduced, which suggests, again, that we're not seeing that pandemic type virus anymore.
Are you worried about another one?
Yeah,
And are
all
you
the
worried?
time. I always worry they're going to have another pandemic. We're good. Like there's not like the just because we had COVID yesterday does not mean something else won't happen tomorrow.
Right.
There's no connection with those things. The biggest driver of emerging pandemics is how we treat the natural environment. The most likely thing to happen is I'm going to sound like such a hippie, tearing down natural rainforests and being exposed to unusual and new pathogens, or where almost all our large pandemics have come from.
Really?
And then married with our fixation on breeding huge herds of pigs, chickens, and cows, which look very much like us to most viruses. Those two things combined are incubators for global pathogens and pandemics. The Ebola outbreak in mid 2000s.
Oh, that one terrifies me.
I maybe then you shouldn't read. I was going to suggest you read a book, but maybe you shouldn't read it.
Okay.
You don't understand how close we were to losing control of containment on that virus, and it would have just spread through Africa and then the rest of the world. That it's not. This isn't a case of like, it was never really a problem. This was close to we failed to contain it in a couple of countries.
God, and it's just a horrible way to go too.
Yeah. I mean, and luckily it's pretty hard to catch.
Is it?
Yes, it's quite hard to catch Ebola. It's not like you're in the same room and you're going to get it. You have to be exposed to fluids.
Okay, so I'm just never leaving the house. That's fine.
most
That's
times.
not a problem. Yeah.
Well, yeah. There's so many things went wrong there, and
you see there's a book that documents this?
Oh, it documents a bunch of different pathogens and things. It's Epidemics in Society by.
I can't imagine with a lot of titles. Epidemic.
Oh, you should see my bookshelf.
Okay. From Black Death to the present?
Yes, I think so. That sounds about right.
Snowden?
Just Snowden. That was it. I was thinking he's got a public health type name. Snowden.
Yeah, Snowden. Very There's another question here about herd immunity.
Yeah,
which is something that's very misunderstood, I think, as well. I'm not sure that I understand.
So herd immunity is what I was describing with the R naught, right?
Right.
So if we think about measles as an example, I need to vaccinate 95% of people to have herd immunity. That's the calculation, because at 95% vaccine, I stop the ability of the virus to go from a pocket of unvaccinated to another pocket. There's another pocket of unvaccinated.
Right.
Because I've cut off all those transmission routes.
Right.
I've reduced its R naught. Obviously, I shouldn't say that. I haven't reduced its R naught. I've reduced its ability to utilize how transmissible it is.
Right. Okay. Right.
So it's just
the R is
cutting
just
off
how transmissible it is. Right.
Yeah, you're just trying to cut off those links between vulnerable people. And in this case, with measles, there's several good, very valid reasons not to get vaccinated if you are compromised, et cetera, et cetera. So there are people who
get to that 95%.
Yes.
You are protecting those people.
You're protecting those people from
physically.
it. Yes.
And what is the issue with the physical? Is it an allergy or an adverse effect?
I believe it's an allergy from measles. I think it might be an egg-based allergy originally, but maybe it's something else now.
Right.
I'd be guessing any further than that.
So herd immunity. People seem to be using that in a sort of an anti-vax thing as well, which I've never quite understood. But only works if the herd is all vaccinated. No, it sounds like it's just you just got to get up to a certain amount of the population. And
that amount is based on the R naught.
Right. Okay. All right.
It's mathematically linked. I can't quite remember the math off the top of my head. It is.
We know you
it's
don't
something
like
to the R naught.
You don't worry your pretty hot young professor brain with that stuff.
Thank you.
What about bird flu? Someone was asking about bird flu in here. That seems to be one that
try and avoid it. maybe don't have big gigantic chicken. I love chicken. I think it's delicious.
Should we stop eating meat? Like, if we get to a point now where I feel like
I haven't.
You haven't. No, I miss it if I don't have it. But I am beginning to wonder if maybe we're not helping ourselves with all these massive agricultural farms of the same pigs, the same cows.
I'm just thinking about getting that ledger in the Book of All Extinctions. It's
gotta get there. You gotta get
one
there.
day.
We did it. James Gurney.
Gotta look forward to something.
On the death of civilization. We did it. Yeah. Very, very nice.
Yes. we'd be better off probably if we didn't eat as much factory farmed animals and stuff. But even non-factory farms aren't exactly much better for infection control. It's one of the big issues is having things like chickens and pigs next to each other.
Chickens and pigs living together. Yeah, I see it, right.
So your retirement plan of having a chicken called Pig and a tractor.
No, I was going to go for a pig called Tractor. Yeah, and a tractor called a pig. Yeah,
no chickens there.
But I'm not a big bird fan.
Yeah, I've grown up around chickens a lot. I don't like them as animals. They're delicious, but I just I don't want to keep them.
I love them deep fried with a spicy sauce, but I'm not a fan of their little beady eyes. There's too much dinosaur in them.
Yeah.
There's too much velociraptor in that chicken for my taste. Although bearded booted bantams are very cute.
Bearded booted bantams.
They are the most ridiculous. If you look them up, they're the most. Yeah. They've got these fluffy feet and fluffy bodies, and they're. I think you could eat their eggs. I don't know if you eat them, but you know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's oh god, what was the bird? The Cassowary.
Oh, the Cassowary. Oh, those things are deadly.
And so I saw a video that one like hissing or something. It just sounds like a velociraptor.
It is.
I was like, is this an AI video?
You to pieces.
Yeah.
They've got these massive claws. Yeah. It's funny. I actually have a Cassowary in a script I'm working on.
Oh, really?
Oh, Australian horror.
We have to talk about that afterwards.
Yeah, their feet are just extraordinary. Respect the Cassowary. Yeah, no kidding. Look, I think I should let you go because we're lucky to have you, and we've had you for over 2 hours now.
I just won't shut up. That's the problem.
No, it's amazing. It's fantastic. I don't know why we don't do this every week. Anything? Where would you like people to? Do you want people to get in touch? Do you not want people to get in touch?
People could reach out to me. I mean, the best way is just via the YouTube link. I think probably I'm on things like Blue Sky.
Is it just Blue Sky now? What do you do much social media? Where's a good place for science on
Blue Sky is fantastic for microbiology and evolution. Yeah, it is.
Okay, I gotta go.
It has completely replaced Twitter in like. So what I typically use Blue Sky for is occasionally I'll post pictures of. We have a foster dog currently, so I'll post a cute picture of her trying to like get her adopted.
Foster, that's good. Foster them.
Yeah.
Then you can give them away.
We have a dog and a cat and a Nothing. That's it. That's what I was gonna say. And a wife? No.
Yeah. I think no. You do not want to put those in the same.
Yeah.
She's advice as someone who's been married for a long time.
Yeah. She's very cute. Not my wife, the foster dog.
Oh, that is very cute. Is that you don't have it wearing a sweater, do you?
Oh, we do because she got so cold. It was -4. The worst part is I bought the sweater. Dave.
I think that's cruelty to animals, frankly. When you
she was shivering inside.
They do that all. They just shiver. It's
that the other dog. Not so much, but yeah.
No, so, mine is so hairy. It's like forget it. It's like it curls up in the snow. It just loves it. I think it's part husky.
My folks have an American Akita, which is basically so anyway, so occasionally I'll post like a picture of a dog, but most of the time I use it for like finding papers and engaging with the scientific community in like, oh, this is what this person's doing, this is what this person's doing. I'll show you a picture of the Akita because it's terrifying.
Akitas I love those dogs. But I just can't imagine.
You see a picture of my wife as well, but that's fine. So that's it sat on Shader.
Oh my God, it's huge.
It's a bear of a dog.
That's like a dire wolf.
Yeah, it's massive. Every time I go and see it, I always try and take a photo.
They were that big.
She's a big one.
Wow.
Her foot is as long as my foot. Like I'm 6'3". Like it's not exactly a small guy.
That's I thought we had a big dog, but it's they're lovely. But
she's
fine. Such a pain in the butt.
Cal very kindly put hello Cal, happy birthday. She put my
Cal's birthday.
It's an old joke. One
day we'll get it right.
One day.
I mean,
Blue Sky I use it for science stuff. Again, if you're interested in outreach stuff, just watch myself and Ghosts Up. I've got hopefully 2 videos this year coming out with them writing, if you can always email me at jamesrgurney@gmail.com. if you have a specific question you think you can ask. Again, I'm not a medical doctor, so
Yeah, don't come to him with this. Don't ask him about your weird remedies.
you can, but I won't be able to help you. Just be like,
People
unless
100
it's specifically about a virus or something like that. I'm not a medical doctor. I'll send you to Gurney.
Right. What's the next piece of equipment for your lab? What do you want to buy next? If you maybe just money, no object, perhaps. Like, is there anything?
I need an anaerobic chamber. So I currently have
anaerobic chamber.
So yeah, currently when I try and grow bacteria that don't grow in oxygen, I use these jars on the bench top. So I put almost like a Tupperware. I put a chemical in there that sucks all the oxygen out. I also have a microphilic cabinet, which is like the size of a desk. I'm putting my arms. You could
they're much better.
Occasionally that's where I stream from, because you put your arms in, it has like rubber gloves and stuff. That drops the oxygen really low to like 1%.
Right.
But there's
just by sucking it out. Is that just like you're just?
It pumps in nitrogen.
Oh, okay.
And so the nitrogen pushes out all the oxygen.
Okay, right.
Yes, I'd like a microphilic cabinet. We also need a flow cytometer in the lab at some point, but they're huge, and so that's.
What does a flow cytometer do?
Imagine like a really fine drip of liquid being thrown out of a nozzle by electricity, and then you shoot it with a laser light, and a different color light comes off of it, and then depending on the color of light, you can change the trajectory of where that drop ends up. So if it's like a blue dot, red dot, yellow dot, so you can separate things off really quickly. Just from in the liquid.
Wait a sec. Literally, the laser tells you what you're looking for, and it knocks it.
Shoots it in it has like a electric magnetic thing that deflects and changes the power between.
That is insane.
Yeah, we built some pretty cool things.
Yeah, really. See, this is the problem. It's like once you know that these things exist, you just want them.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
But we're honestly okay. We've got a bunch of stuff. We have one in the department. It's always nice to have
go. Yeah, you want it right there. Of course, it's like the 3D.
I would like that company to send me, not Gilson, the company who just ignored me and told me they don't care about disabled people. I would like them to send me a robot.
Who are they? So we can just. Is it worth?
What is that? What is that? Opentronic.
Opentronics. Okay, all right.
Opentron.
Let's let Opentronics know that they should be supporting James's lab.
No, not me.
Yeah. No, but your lab.
Yeah.
I mean, it's your.
They could literally give it to that student, and she could take it with her. Because
there you go.
I don't need it in my lab afterwards.
Okay.
But so I was a little annoyed because I know they've given people them for free before, and they outright, because I know some of the people who got them who do social media stuff, and they were like, "Oh, we don't do that." It's like, I know you do.
So they give it to social media people, but not people who are in a lab. But you're going to get social coverage of that anyway, don't you?
Also, the student who I had in lab, she has quite a large, much larger than either of us, social media following.
Yeah.
So she does her own thing. And I was like, okay, cool.
Should we follow her? Should people be following her?
I'm not going to send people to follow her. A 19-year-old student from my lab. They can find her on herself.
Yeah. My nieces keep saying, why don't you follow us on social? I was like, because I'm your uncle and I don't want to know. You are not. That's not out of my realm. Okay, well, thank you again, James. Thank you. This is fantastic. I'd love to. I mean, at some point, we didn't touch on science fiction, which is something that we share an interest in. Was there any suggestions for things out there that sci-fi that you like or that relates to this or doesn't?
I keep wanting to watch the new Apple one. Have you watched that yet? From Gilliam, guy did Breaking Bad. What's
Plurus? Plurus. Yeah. I don't know anything about it really.
I think there's something about space in there.
It's definitely a sci-fi thing of some sort. Have you watched any of the new Alien Earth?
No, I really want to. Alien growing up was one of my favorite films.
Me too, absolutely. Yeah, and
I even like Aliens 4. I'll be honest, like Resurrection, because of Sigourney Weaver. I kind
of enjoyed them all for that matter. But in my own way,
she's always done something for me. I don't know why.
Really?
Yeah. From a young age.
Really? Well, she was a model. It was her first acting job was, I believe, Alien. Yeah. I think
probably. Yeah. It's before Ghostbusters, right? Yeah. That's Ghostbusters.
Yeah. I think Alien made her.
Yeah.
Basically.
I'll watch anything with her in. So.
I think with Alien Earth, I think there's stuff you'll hate and stuff that I certainly hate. But what I did really appreciate was that it managed to capture that same alien feel.
Yeah,
Like
which is,
that
I mean, that was the issue with Prometheus and stuff. It felt like a polished
whole
Hollywood movie,
different,
whereas
whole
like
different
the
thing.
Wayne and the
Yeah.
Tani
Yeah.
universe is always, it's like Blade Runner, right? Because that's also in the same cinematic universe.
Yeah.
It has a style and a feeling to it, which it's
They did a
not
good job with the
captured.
new one, I thought.
I've
But
still not seen the new one.
the new one's I mean, the new
Yeah.
one, it falls apart. But at the same time,
So did original Blade Runner eventually.
well, yeah, I mean, the
Yeah.
endings of these films are never really, I loved Blade Runner though. Blade Runner was
It's one of the best movies of all
magical to
time.
me.
Yeah.
But the problem is, it's raised a generation of billionaires who want to create that world. I'm like, no. It's supposed to be a cautionary tale. Like,
David, just think of the ledger, the suicide ledger. Like it's we're getting there.
we're going to that's it. We did it. James
Yeah.
Gurney on humanity, on the end of humanity. Well, look, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
And let's do this again. Maybe we could even pick a topic that's maybe just outside of the work stuff
Yeah.
for you. Maybe do some stuff that you want to discuss. I mean, there's any new books? Anything new stuff?
Again that Endemics in Society.
Okay, right. This is more for me than anyone else.
Yeah, I suggested you read that book about prions, right? With the discovery of prions.
So good.
It's
so unbelievably
yeah.
What was
Regardless
it
of
called?
all the science, just the attitude of how science happens from
What
that book.
dicks they are! Oh my god! I couldn't get over. I was like, no, that's what actors do to each other. That's not what scientists. Yeah, you're wrong. Why? Because I think you are.
You're wrong. Yeah.
Oh, it's extraordinary. What was it called? It was called
Madness in Memory or something.
Madness in Memory. It was magnificent, absolutely magnificent. And what I loved about it was, yes, I had to scurry off and look things up every so often, but for the most part, it was pretty good about keeping me on track as to what was involved there.
I've been reading much more on. I say reading. I've been listening to things as I cycle to work more often. You might enjoy a book by my friend Firmament by Simon Clark. It's about atmospheric science.
How do you have time to read?
I literally cycling to work with my bone conducting headphones.
Aren't they the best? Did you pick them up?
I love them.
Which ones did you get? Did you get the swim the pro? What are they called?
I got the Pro Shock 2 or something.
Yeah, I forget they're on.
Yeah, I have a massive head. Just to thank you.
Yeah.
The large ones are far too big for the back of my head, though. So anyone's thinking about getting them, get the small size smaller.
Really? Okay.
I'm like,
I don't know which one. I didn't think I had an option.
But that's more important because I'm wearing a helmet. But
I got the swim ones for Jane so that she could swim with them because you think about it. I suddenly went like, oh, of course you can't use Bluetooth underwater. It doesn't work. So it has a little MP3 player in it so she can play. I put together a little a mix list for her. Yeah.
What's the worst song to listen to while you're swimming? Was there any things about drowning at sea by
I guess you could. Yeah. Well, no. What you don't want to do is put in too many slow, sad ones because you're just like, oh, what's the point? Just float down. So they were shocks. They're called shocks.
Shocks, that's it. Yeah.
The shocks ones are great. I will say this though. If you're on the subway, if you're around loud construction,
it doesn't work.
You can't compete. They just can't.
Yeah. So what I found was I wear a scarf over my head for cycling as well when it's cold. That insulates everything and makes them super, super useful. I was listening to Bill Bryson's books and he's so quiet when he talks. It's like,
really?
What, Bill? What?
Yeah. Bill, you're talking to me through my bones. I need to.
Speak up, man. The other book I read recently, again on the way to work cycling, was Never Let Me Go. By Kuzo.
Is that the one about that's about the clones, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like soft sci-fi.
Yeah.
It's not like
it's like romance sci-fi.
Yeah. Because I was trying to make my way through. Because I'm being pretentious, like Nobel Prize winner literature. They won a Nobel Prize for it. It's like, I haven't read enough literature. So
did you know he invented dynamite?
Yes,
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I thought that was such an interesting.
Yeah. And his brother died of it. So Alfred and his brother invented it, but his brother died from an explosion. Yeah.
sorry, I shouldn't smile, but it just seems something rather.
The ledger, it
Yeah.
strikes again.
That's it. Look what I invented. Ah, yeah,
Exactly.
right. No, it's funny because I've got a book for you that I'm reading
Yeah.
right now. And when I say reading, I mean listening to. Is the Technological Republic by
Techno
the guy who
Republic.
runs Palantir.
Oh, I've heard of this. Yeah. I've
It
heard of this,
is. I'm not sure I agree with everything, but
yeah.
but weirdly, there's a lot of
Yeah.
stuff that unfortunately, makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. It's always good to challenge yourself with opinions.
That's it. Yeah.
It's like Adam Curtis's documentaries. I don't know if you've ever watched any of his. They're really good documentaries.
I love documentaries. Adam Curtis, okay.
You've probably seen some of his stuff, but again, like I'll watch them. Like I don't agree with a fair bit of how he's laying out this argument, simplified. But I'd much rather live in a world where I can watch that and form an opinion on my own. I mean, again, I agree with most of what he says. They're fantastic documentaries about. He had one about Russian disinformation probably 10 years ago, 15 years ago now.
Wow.
And it just captured everything that's happened since then. I know I definitely watched it in France, so it's at least 8 years old.
Wow. I've got to say, I prefer nonfiction now for the most part. I mean, I guess that's an age thing or something, but I
One last book for you, Brave Genius. It's an autobiography. It's a biography of.
Autobiography would be great. Yeah. I had Brave Genius. It's my autobiography.
This is. It's by. Let me get it up. Sean Carroll.
B. Carroll, yeah, Sean Carroll.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's about Jacques Monod and what's the French guy's name?
French resistance guys? What the hell?
I'm blanking on the name of the famous French author who died in a car crash. He's in this book as well. So it's Jacques Monod, who's a scientist, and the guy from Algeria.
I don't see it in here. Jacques Monod.
Jacques Monod's the scientist.
Right.
The other one,
Camus. Oh my God! Really?
Yeah. So the two of them were friends, both in the French Resistance. Wow. Jacques Monod is the guy who came up with the idea of how genes are actually regulated, how operons work.
Oh wow!
Very famous scientist.
Okay.
And this is just a really, really interesting book. From one point of view, like growing up in the UK and British type places, I knew how the UK responded during the Second World War in terms of like day life and everything. I didn't really have a good understanding of what was happening in France at the same time, and this gives a really fantastic account. Maybe there's stuff missing. The only account I've read of life during the French Resistance and Nazi occupation, and it's just worth reading just for that alone.
We're gonna start like a bio book club. Like biology inspired book club. Or something.
We were going to do that with Niall at some point.
Yeah, we were going to do that. We were going to do that, and it was about life on the edge.
We read that.
Yeah, it was fun. All right. Well, now I have to go just because I have to pee.
Yeah.
Basically, that wraps up.
I've been peeing the last hour. I'll be.
I got to set up. I just put my
wife's at a conference. I'm alone all week.
It's like whenever Jane goes away, I go like, "How many pizzas are you gone for?" Like
I'll let you pee, but yesterday tonight I'm making myself a steak. So
good for you. Oh, Jane made a stew the other day that was like little mini steaks, just all like cubes of little mini steaks, and it was delicious. Now I'm hungry too. All right, James, everyone. Thank you for the wonderful questions. Thank you for being here. Thank you to Cal for being here, of course, for Gippy G for dropping by, and everyone else for your wonderful questions. Much, much appreciated. And of course, James Gurney, ladies and gentlemen, just thank you for spending so much time with us talking about this stuff. It's amazing. It's always a pleasure.
My pleasure.
Yeah. And so I will say until we geek again, which I guess will be next week now, I will say be brave, be kind, be brilliant, cheerio, and huzzah. And go check out James's YouTube channel. And if you think of it, go check out techbandits.org. That would be wonderful. All right, everyone. Good night. And I shall